Off the Ropes, episode 48. We're going to talk a little Summer Slam results and give our thoughts on how it went down. Hello, everyone. I'm Mr. Nedison Brett Swinney. Alongside me tonight, we got Dirt Sheet Brandon, the Big Goose, KO Kyle Owens, and Jeremy the Jim Diamond. Welcome, fellas. How was your weekend?
It's good.
It was a fun two night weekend there. A lot of back to back excitement.
Well, it was all right.
At least some. Yeah.
It was all right. We've had a busy week here on NetSN. Last night we had our first Beast from the East episode where we talked a little football. So we got a little wrestling this week too. Back to back nights of great podcasts here, fellas. I'm excited to talk about this weekend. But Jeremy, you didn't get to join us last night, and we there's this guy on our show that he just doesn't get wrestling. I just don't understand. We're just gonna have to convert him over. Our man Jaron, give him a shout out, but we gave a wrestling pun, Kyle, and he just didn't get it.
He didn't. He didn't follow along with it, and I knew he wouldn't. And so when I said it, I said, Jaron, I know you won't understand this, but me, Brett, and Brandon got a big pop out of it. He just had no clue, and I feel bad for the guy.
It was like he was out there and in the wrestling ring, and he had no communication, no idea what was going on in the match, and we were just working around him.
We heel turned on him in the ring, like we were all on a team together, and we all just turned heel on him, and he was like, "What? What do I do now?"
He was Michael Cole when Lesnar's music hit.
Yeah, yes, he was.
Oh man, but it was a lot of fun. So if you like high school football and here in East Texas, or you just like some guys just going back and forth talking high school football, give us our Beast from the East show. It's still up. Listen, we talked the big school. Next week on Tuesday night, we'll talk small school, and that's going to be interesting. So you won't want to miss that. But guys, 2-night Summer Slam, first one ever. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good watch. Obviously, I think there was some spot times in there that maybe it wasn't as great as it could be, but I thought overall I enjoyed it. There was a lot of good things that happened. What did you guys take from it overall? 2 nights.
Yeah, I like. I think both nights. The first night I don't remember as much, like until I go back and look. But I know the second night I like it started really well, then it got kind of dead in the middle, and then it picked back up at the end. And we got big surprises on both nights. Like the first night surprises. One people we kind of hinted at, but we still didn't know. It was still a surprise. But then the second night was one of those wow surprises that you didn't see or hear anywhere, you didn't expect. Like it was like the seeing the heel turn at Elimination Chamber. It was big that it was one of those wow moments in wrestling that you just didn't and we'll get to it obviously. And I guess another big news that came out today is this is the final SummerSlam we will see on Peacock. They're going to ESPN like that. So, I don't know if we ever would have expected that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and you guys can leave with it because I'm actually I saw y'all talking about it today. Those of us that in the school world, it's crazy busy right now. Jeremy's probably he probably agrees with me, but as much as he's busy, I'm trying to go help about 50 to 75 of Jeremy's around the campus, and so I'm running around trying to take care of everybody. So I kind of missed some of it today. So what I gather was 2026 and beyond, all PLEs are moving to ESPN. And they just acquired the Red Zone and the NFL stuff. Was there anything else that I missed that they're going to have on this? It was $30 a month. Is that what it was?
Yeah, but then they clarified. So there's some little fine print. If you have YouTube, Hulu plus live TV, if you have like a regular streaming thing that comes with it, you automatically, if you already get it, you don't have to pay the $30. I just saw that. And
let's go.
You just have to fill in your
right. You just have to put in your TV provider, and then if you have the right stuff, then you're good to go. So I did see that because I was worried about it too. Man, $30 a month is hefty. But if you're YouTube TV, Hulu plus live TV, and then I can't remember, there was at least a DirecTV stream And I
And the
think one
cables,
more
yeah.
for sure.
I mean, I think my channel's covered. I don't think I need it at all. I think it's going to be on what I have here. Jeremy, did you get that ordered, by the way?
I have not yet. I have not.
I'm trying to convert Jeremy KO. You were sold on it. Given the pitch on why he should switch to my service.
Well, listen, now I'm not the best advocate for this. Brandon would be a much better advocate. He gets a lot more use out of it.
Well, you paid, but you were paying a lot beforehand, so you kept paying.
What I do, what I use it for, basically strictly for AEW pay-per-views. So instead of having to pay $50 a month, I'm paying $20 a month for the pay-per-view, essentially. But it comes with so much more, Jeremy. Let me tell you, as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, if I want to watch the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday and they're showing the lowly Dallas Cowboys on the Fox station here, I can get on that device and watch the Philadelphia affiliate and watch my Eagles all day long, no interruption. 49ers, hey, you want to go watch the 49ers? You can tune into a Bay Area Fox affiliate and they will show you the entire game. It is beautiful. But not only that, Jeremy, but wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more. Oh, my. I was probably sold, but let's go.
Oh, I got you with more. Basketball, any game imaginable. You can watch
Jayhawks.
College,
they're always on there.
All your Cardinals games.
Bubba. Cardinals, you can watch the that's all you need, Bubba.
Although
all you need.
I'm not sure I want to watch the Cardinals, but let's get rid of Mosaic and let's get Bloom in there, and then we'll see.
I just got done watching the Astros and Marlins on it right before we started. So
nice. Yeah, no, it's definitely in the window. This is it's that time of year where I feel like this is that summer of spending that we've had where like my daughter had her wisdom teeth out. Like I think we put new tires on, 2 of our 3 rides within a week. And
the good news, Jeremy, I'm going to keep you busy enough in football season where I think you'll be able to at least record that. So
I think I'll be able to swing it. Yeah.
But
that's true.
But yeah, so definitely looking at so I think it's cool that they're including those services because I mean that would probably hack some people off. But the good news is, if that's the case, then I guess anybody that has those services gets the PLEs for free. Is that
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Essentially, when you log into ESPN, like you just as long as your TV provider's in there, then you would be able to access all that. So, but I noticed it was in the number 4 of the fine print section. So they're not really pushing that out. They're hoping that maybe somebody just pays the $30 anyway and doesn't catch it. I guess I don't know.
Well, but it's weird to me because I kind of thought that maybe Netflix, it would all start moving to Netflix. They have everything overseas that way on Netflix. And so if you use that thing called a VPN and you make yourself overseas, you can watch some of that on Netflix that direction. I don't know. It's interesting, though. ESPN is on a spending spree. Of course, you guys posted that there's a certain commentator for WWE or part-time guy that isn't too keen on some things at ESPN. Mr. McAfee.
I know he was happy about this, but
like some other things going on.
Well, he's never been shy about firing at them. He
hates people in suits.
Yeah, he's been very vocal about that from the beginning. He's never
and his show's so good that he gets kind of the reign to say, I
need his show to come back on. I expected it to be on this week. We're in the middle of football. Nothing.
You'll see old Howard Stern got canceled.
Yeah, his show's done until September because the Little League World Series.
That would be mine.
They have it on ESPN Plus. Do it on YouTube. Put the show on, Pat. We need Pat.
They did do a couple YouTube only days, but
yeah. And then Howard Stern got canceled today. I saw they're kicking him out. They finally decided that $100 million, whatever they were paying him from Sirius, was too much, and he gone. And
Sirius
so I guess they got tired of his antics.
That still exists.
Yeah. Well, speaking of though, it tells you how big wrestling is these days. Because Sirius, they had the show Busted Open and still do, but it was used to just be a once a week thing. Then it became 2 days a week. And then probably about 5 or 6 years ago, it became every day or Monday through Friday. Now they just announced a couple weeks ago, they're going to have a 24/7 hour pro wrestling channel on Sirius all week, all the time. I was like, that it shows how big wrestling's got.
Well, they have that many people paying that much a month for that?
I don't anymore. Well, it's crazy. About 4 or 5 years ago, I tried to cancel, and they we'll give you the next 2 years free, and then $8 a year for the third year. And so I did that, and then after that last year, I thought, oh, they give me the same offer, and then they just let me cancel that time. I was like, I don't use it enough anymore. I used to use it all the time, but now that was a long time ago. But now, like you said, it's not. I just want you getting the use of it because I'm always listening to podcasts and stuff in my car. But
I got Apple Music for my music that I can just go. I get that with my Apple plan.
Yeah, I liked the shows part of it. Like I liked the wrestling channel and stuff. But I can find stuff like now that they have it in podcast form and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
see, and I do it for the Cardinals and for the 49ers. So listen to Greg Pop on the radio,
but you might not need that anymore, Jeremy.
I may not need to. So yeah, I've been doing that. I think every year I got to cancel. They're like $99 plus, tax or whatever.
But now you can get all those on the MLB the MLB.com app.
That's true.
So
the radio
Jeremy,
podcasts are free. So
what you're saying is the radio is kind of the stream game is the way to go. It sounds like something we always say, everything is going to NetSN, it's on TV. So listen to radio,
Yeah.
Well, when you're driving, never mind. I'm not going to out Brett here, but
yeah, when you're driving, you may or may not have something going on the TVs. It's okay.
That explains a lot of your driving.
Brett's car's like an IMAX theater.
But it was on the back. I had them in the back for Brandon. You were sitting in the back, weren't you?
Yeah, but you also have some in the front.
Yeah, I had it up on. I also had it in the back.
Brett's car's like a sports bar
without the drinks.
No drinks. No
just not on that side. Only for the kids in the back and the passenger.
Yeah, all the sippy cups you can handle.
Back to the 9, man. Yeah, those long road trips. Those were a long road trip that Brandon and I took.
No, it was.
So
it was China Spring, but might as well have been China.
Yeah, it was fun though. We got to call a state semifinal. So, man, just lots of things going on. Let's talk wrestling, fellas.
Yeah.
First match on the show. I like the way they started. Got Roman Reigns and Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. There was a lot of carnage in this match. I really enjoyed it. It was a good opening, solid match. It wasn't like it wasn't that 5-star match as Diggs would say, as far as moves and stuff, but it was solid. It's they're still trying to tell a story with these guys. I'm interested to see kind of where this goes, because at one point we thought, well, maybe Braun's kind of like taking Seth's spot here, but obviously that's not happening. And so we'll see. I'm sure at some point the future is going to have to be now, and Braun's going to have a feud with Seth somewhere way down the line. But for now, I was just excited to see Roman Reigns back in the ring. He still just he's so over still. Like, it's just incredible. And so I thought it was cool, though, that they let Jey get the pin, that he let him get the pin. I thought that was kind of a sign that Roman is kind of respects Jey then now, like he's more on his level, and not kind of keep him down like he was in his title run, where he was kind of his right hand. Now he's kind of on the same level. So I thought that was a cool touch here. But I thought the match was good and solid and hard hitting, and these guys went at it. And I'm interested to see kind of where they keep going with this. But I thought it was a solid opening match.
Yeah, I thought it was a good way to start. And I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but like I've noticed this with Triple H lately, is he wants to open his shows with a superstar. He did it, because the second night I thought there might be a different match start, and then I thought about it, and I saw what was starting. I was okay. He wants to start with Rhea, and then the night before he wants to start with Roman. He wants to start. He starts all these PLEs now with a superstar, and then because regardless of the main event, a superstar's got in their match, and they're going to open the show. I started noticing that on the PLEs, but I thought it was good. There were some really, really cool spots in this, which with Braun, and then and you get obviously the ending where Bronson was going for the tsunami, and he's mid through, and Roman comes through and Superman punches him, and they had some cool spots with tables, like the Spanish announce table, and then through the barricades with Braun loves putting people through barricades. So yeah, there were some really, really cool spots in this match, and that was funny. The opening, you're gonna get the elaborate entrances with Jey and Roman. They come out, they beat him up. Then Jay's like, let's do our entrances some more. Like, let's start the music again. And as they were doing that, then Braun and Bronson got back up and said no more yeeting. But no, it was a fun match. Good start to the 2-night SummerSlam.
I was going to mention too before we go to Jeremy or Kyle. I did tally up our picks here, fellas.
I did bad.
Actually, yeah. Brandon. Actually, me and you tied for the win with 8.
Really, man?
I did bad.
Every match, I was like, I missed
this. Y'all give me a lot of grief for some of my picks that I ended up getting first. I mean, I got railroaded. I wanted the professor to be here because he was really railing into some of my picks.
Well, you wouldn't have if you wouldn't have changed that one. I would have won all alone then.
Yeah, you would have because I did change to Naomi.
Yeah.
But the one I actually had 8 out of 9. The first 8 out of 9 I had, I lost the last 3.
Wow.
So because I had AJ, Cena, and who was the other one? Oh, I had Batu as well. So I lost 3 in a row. But Kyle, you had the least. You had 5, but we knew you were either going to do really good or really bad because you were underdog city, which sometimes it worked out for a couple of matches, I think. But
well, talking through that, Brett. So that means I was doing bad then, and that means I hit the last 3.
You did. I had a 3. I was guaranteed to win on the. I had a 3 pick lead going to the last 3 matches.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so I missed a lot early, but I was like, I went opposite those final 3. I was like, oh, I got all 3 of those, but I missed a lot on Saturday.
Yeah, I went 5 of 6 on Saturday. Jeremy, you had 7. You and the professor, so y'all had 7. So you're right there.
Hey, I'll take any day I'm close to the professor. That feels like a win. I mean, second place.
Don't give him any more. Don't give him a bigger head, Jeremy. We don't.
He's not here to hear it. It's fine.
He's popping in tonight.
You know how he decides to just show up sometimes.
Yeah, so he'll probably come in right after I said that. So I mean, there were a couple that I think sometimes it's hard to pick heart versus head, right? And then you're trying to figure out what's going to be rolling down the hill. But I thought it was a cool opening match. I love the fact that Roman saved Jay from the spear. I thought it was a cool touch to do that because again, Roman's going to step away for a bit. I think his next scheduled PLE is, late in the year, and so he's not really set up for Clash or any of those things. And so I think it was a chance for to further cement Jay in that spot where you could be a guy you can count on. Right. And then you're not missing Roman as much. He doesn't get pinned. So that's a good thing. But he also elevates his partner and it makes him look like kind of that thing that we probably thought he was missing a little bit where, he was kind of like, I'm going to let these guys do my bidding. It felt more like a teammate than it did an underling, So I thought it was a cool touch.
I enjoyed the match. I thought it was a fun opening match. I loved seeing Roman do the Undertaker spot where he completely dove. Well, I was watching it with my parents and I said, Roman's not about to do this, is he? And sure enough, he hit it, went over the top rope. I said, Roman can fly? Okay. So it was a really neat opening match, but I think they got the outcome wrong. Obviously, I picked a different outcome, so I think they got it wrong.
You picked it differently?
No, but because my creative is better than theirs. Listen, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make it to me. It didn't make sense to let Roman and Jay get the win when Roman's about to be off TV and you're not about to have that same thing going forward. So what's up, Brandon?
So did you watch Raw?
I did.
So they made it seem like they were writing them off.
That's what I'm saying. So why give them the win?
Hold on. But then I thought we wouldn't see him to SummerSlam. Then today, did you see the announcement today?
No.
Today they announced he will be at Raw in Philadelphia on the 18th.
Okay, so there has been conflicting reports from your dirt sheets. One of them was saying that he wasn't going to start filming till September, so he was going to be good all of August. And another one said he had to film all of August and he would be available September. So I don't know what to believe. But my point is, either way, my point remains the same. Roman's not going to be there consistently. You're going to have Braun and Bronson there consistently. So you're trying to build them up. Why do you beat them on the pay-per-view? That was my viewpoint on it. But I don't mind Roman winning. Obviously, OTC, I acknowledge my tribal chief. I love Roman. And I love the fact that, Paul was on, I think it was SmackDown or Raw the week before, talking to Jay and was like, he's just using you, blah, 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 same thing, all this stuff, trying to bring up old memories. And then in the match, Roman saves him. So it was good storytelling there, and I really enjoyed the match. I just think they got the outcome wrong, but I enjoyed the match.
I think the outcome makes more sense when you think about the end of the night, right? Had Seth really been hurt and really been out, then I think maybe that outcome's different, right? Like if Seth is really not coming back, then I think Braun probably does get the push and they get the win there, maybe. But I don't know, maybe not. It just seems like maybe that's the reason. Like, again, I think it's that you're going to see that, like, as time goes on, Braun's going to get a little bit more irritated about still being in the shadow a little bit of Seth, right? And this is going to lend more to that, like, I should be the guy getting the push, but I got beat at SummerSlam by Roman, and then you came back, and now I'm still the second guy, and I want to be the first guy. I think that's like that slow burn to get into that point where they can really set that feud off, and then there really is some backstory to it.
Hey, so what do you guys think about the Bronson Reed's persona now, where he's got the whatever they call it,
the Shula Fala,
the Shula Fala, and all that stuff? That's pretty funny. It's comical.
It is. It's great.
So
whoever came up with those names gets a raise.
Roman's going to show up flip flops next week. I like that. The tribal thief.
My son was like, "Dad, they're stealing a whole lot of money from Roman. That's wrong." He's like, "That's rude."
Those aren't just like K-Swissers, and those are Jordans. So.
Yeah.
So Kyle, on your over the ropes jump, did you notice how close Roman was to really taking a bad hit there?
Yeah, he overshot his target big time.
I mean, that could have been really bad.
Had he not grabbed Braun Breaker's chin on the way by, I think he's eating a face full of ground, because that kind of allowed him to kind of flip over.
That wasn't near
as bad. It was almost
as
like a Jeff Hardy like swanton bomb. Like he went over the top, overshot it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looked weird. I was like, that couldn't have been on purpose. I think he overshot.
No, he definitely overshot.
It was just looked weird, but I never seen him
into like a neck breaker. From like he went over the top, flips over, and like almost into a neck breaker look. It was crazy. I thought he was going to miss and just totally eat the floor.
Yeah, he didn't realize he still had that kind of verticality. But it looks like they're going to run this back somewhat at Clash, but no Jay, and they're going to do Roman, Punk, and LA Knight against Seth and the boys. So.
Okay. All right. Next match. Judgment Day, which is Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and they pulled the trigger as Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are now champs. I don't think I've seen all of Raw yet. I think I haven't quite finished. I did see them come out again, and they still haven't used the F word, I believe, right? They're still kind of like going back and forth. Yeah, I think this is going to be fun. Like, it's got a story with it. They're believable champs. We'll see if I really want to have. I think Roxanne Perez and Raquel will get another. Did they defend against them again or not? Yeah. Like, I want to see some more teams. I think I want to. I'm hoping that they'll use this to try to build some teams. And whenever they do lose, maybe Charlotte and Alexa puts another team over. But I do like this story with them. At least it's made me interested. I care about Charlotte Flair for probably the first time since NXT. Like, I just haven't cared about her character because they've just. And I didn't realize 14. She's won 14 world titles. Like, her reigns were like her and Sasha Banks went back and forth and would just lose, like back and forth. And so that's got to be a story at some point. Are they going to push her over that number or not? I mean, we'll see, I guess. But right now, I like what they're doing with the tag titles. I think I actually care about the women's tag titles for the first time. Kyle, I know you always are critical about these. How do you feel about this? I
don't care at all about the women's tag titles. They're still irrelevant. There's no tag teams.
Well,
they're irrelevant titles.
But at least they got a little story going with them. Do you think they can maybe use them to build some new tag teams in the women's division?
There's not any tag teams, Brett. What are you gonna build? They're the leaders of no division.
You gotta create them sometime.
You don't have to get rid of the women's tag titles. You don't need women's tag titles. There's not enough women's tag teams to have women's tag titles. Like, there are pointless championships.
Without the tag titles, though, you wouldn't have this Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss alliance. and you wouldn't have this
They could
story.
still be friends. They could. Well, I'm
Why
sorry.
would they care?
Allies of convenience.
Why would they care about being a tag team if there's no belts?
They could just be friends.
I don't know. I just think
I'm just saying, you can have the belts there, but you're saying, do I care about it? No, I don't, because they're still irrelevant. But I guess they're using it as a gateway to get Alexa and Charlotte together. That's fine. But in the overall tag, you're talking about building up and putting another tag team over. Who? What tag team? The Dungeon Dolls, Natty and Maxine? The Secret Harvest? Who cares about that? Like these are irrelevant teams, man. Like,
is this your chance to bring up like Sol Ruka and Zarya as a team? You know, do you
have
do something there?
Sure, you can,
I mean,
sure, but then
you're
taking NXT away. Like then you're taking all that women's talent from NXT that you have to replenish. So then you have nothing on. Then you're taking away from the NXT tag team division. I love the Alexa and Charlotte pairing. I think it's great. I do think Monday, when they came out, it felt a little cringy and forced at times. And so I hope they're leaning. I feel like they're taking their time, not wanting to say the F word, but they were quick to give them the title. Like, if you're going to let it play out a little bit more, that's what I was talking about before the show. Let it play out. I don't think it's necessary to give them the titles right now. Cause again, they're irrelevant titles. It's not hurting anything being on the Judgment Day. They're not doing anything with them. So it doesn't matter. So, but they gave them the titles. That's fine. Got the moment. And I liked what they did there where Charlotte had a choice, right? She had a choice whether she could take out Alexa or, take out Raquel. She took out Raquel to help Alexa. Love it. Love all that. I love what they're doing. Like you said, I'm invested in Charlotte now, whereas before I couldn't care less about Charlotte. So that is something positive. But as far as the tag titles, they're absolutely pointless.
So you don't care any more than you did a few weeks ago at all? Not even a smidgen bit?
About the tag titles? No.
Yes.
No.
See, I do. I care more now. At least I got something invested in. It's got a story. I'm going to give them a chance to try to build something because, there's no tag titles. But we talked about the tag team division, how bad it was how many months ago. And look what they've done with it. They've really were able to build it. And we'll talk about that match in a minute. And probably my favorite match of the entire weekend.
They have on SmackDown, but not on Raw.
Well, yeah, but they have built it, though. I think maybe we get draft, trade, NIL. I think maybe we get some of these teams over. And maybe.
Can I make a comment about the draft, too? What's the point in having the draft when you got people all over the place right now anyway? Why even have a draft? Just let them keep showing up.
I don't know. They always have it, so.
I think it's just that brand identity, like who's the big face, who's the heel, right? Like the consistent guys matter, but some of the other it's just to get somebody to tune into the other show. Oh man, my favorite guy is switching over to Raw. I'm going to kick over there, or vice versa.
The thing though is, I'd say wait now. Don't do one until 2026 when you got ESPN, and do it on ESPN, and let them hey, we put drafts together. Here's how we're going to do a draft, and you're going to follow these rules. And we're not doing it y'all's way. We're going to do it we're going to do it like we do a real draft.
Should draft the entire roster out, instead of just.
I do like that idea, having it set up like the NFL draft and doing it that way and making it a legit thing.
But don't pick some random person first. You
right.
should be picking that's
make it legit.
It should be top down.
Sometimes it's why would you pick them second? They're not your second best person out there.
Let McAfee pick for Raw. Let Barrett pick for SmackDown. Let's go.
I like it. I'm sold.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the match as far as the build up and the story behind it. And I think you can kind of run that Alexa Charlotte Judgment Day thing. And is there a pay-per-view where Liv Morgan comes back and, costs the Judgment Day a shot at winning it or something? I think that's maybe what they're playing into too, is they're kind of teasing this out for that Liv Morgan return at some point to take revenge on Roxanne.
You could even have Liv return, Jeremy, and say she wants back in. So it's her and Raquel, because she never lost the title. So, and then maybe Roxanne messes up and interferes, and then you kind of they lose again, and it kind of builds their feud in. I mean, you could, because she technically could make a case. Well, I was the champion and I never lost. So I don't know.
Yeah. And you pin the girl that didn't rightfully earn the title, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I enjoyed the match too. And I do like I agree with Kyle. I don't care about the tag titles, but I do like this is the most interesting thing Charlotte has done in forever. And I liked how Wade pointed out that just 4 weeks ago she was getting booed. You know, for a while she's been getting booed out of every building they go to, and now I mean, Alexa's got hurt. Now she's getting, she's getting a pop, not Rhea pop, and not even like a Stephanie Vicor pop, but she's not getting booed out of buildings anymore. Like people are kind of invested now, and so Alexa's done a good job there. And not to say, Charlotte's been a superstar, just she's never been relatable or likable, and so this has helped her in that sense. But so
All right. Next match, Karrion Kross, Sami Zayn. I think I did get this prediction correct. We kind of talked about, what the status was for Karrion Kross. Doesn't look like he's getting a new deal. So that's going to be his farewell out. Sami Zayn gets the win. Brandon, you had Karrion Kross there. How do you feel about what they're doing here with Kross and not re-signing him?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I didn't like anything about this. It was a weird, I was like waiting for something to happen. It didn't, nothing happened. Like Sammy won and it was just wasn't a good match. There was no payoff at the end. I mean, there was nothing there. Sammy's who you're building up to. I mean, everyone thinks he's going to win Royal Rumble. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like it at all. This was not. I just would have did something different. So.
Yeah, I felt like it was the clunkiest match of the night. Like it just didn't have good rhythm. It felt like two guys that didn't want to be in there together. You know what I mean? In some ways. And like, I thought for sure when Scarlett handed in the pipe, I'm like, okay, here it is. Like, we're going to get that turn, right? We're going to get Sammy to finally Kross, you were right. And, I don't know. And then it just didn't happen. And I don't know. It just kind of felt, eh. And then I thought, well, if Sammy's not going to turn, then it ought to be Kross winning it. But yeah, I just thought I was disappointed in it. I felt like that was the one I could have gotten up and gone to the bathroom, whatever, and come back and been fine and not miss anything. And you could kind of see it in the crowd. Like it just got real dead.
Yeah. And even if you're not going to use the pipe during the match, like once it ended, you won. I still think Sammy then should have went and got it and then came and started beating them and until someone came and broke them up. Like they just gave us nothing. And I didn't like that.
Yeah. Kross just went off sad. It looked like he lost his puppy or something. It was really weird.
Yeah, this was the worst match of the night for me. I couldn't care about it at all. I said this before last week. Like it just wasn't their first match at Night of Champions was good, but it's the same stuff with Sammy every time it's a match. And it wasn't so much that this time, but maybe it was. I really didn't pay attention to this match. If I'm being completely honest with you, I was so out of it. I didn't really care about it.
It wasn't as bad as what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Kyle. We talked about this. 80% of the time he's getting beat, and then he all of a sudden hulks up or he gets this energy and ends up winning. He actually controlled most of the match. I think it made Sammy look strong, and it made Karrion Kross look really weak. And I think that was because they're burying Karrion Kross out the door. I mean, let's just be honest. They knew they were going to re-sign him. Why make him look strong? He was still getting a fan reaction, though. Like, Kross is still getting some cheers, even though he's supposed to be the heel.
They were chanting for him after the show, in the post-show, and then Triple H, the idiot, oh, you want Brock? Well, you got him. That's not what they were saying at all.
Brock.
Sure.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it would have been better for him to ignore that altogether than acknowledge it wrong.
They dropped Kross. They fumbled Kross. I don't know. I don't know. I think I loved his presentation. I loved what he did in NXT, but when they made him into Shredder on Raw, when they brought him up from NXT, they ruined him, and he never recovered from that.
No. They tried to put his entrance back, and it was just too late at that point.
Yeah. That's the best part. That was the best part of the match, was the entrance.
Yeah.
I think the hard part is I didn't believe him as a guy in the ring. Like I believed everything else. That it was like once he crossed the rope, it was just hard to me, the connection wasn't there from the character you see in the back, right? The character that you see on the way down, and then what you saw in the ring just didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't feel like it translated. I didn't buy or believe I don't know. He just, and I wanted to, like, I was rooting for him. I wanted him to do well. I just was like, meh, you know. I felt like an AEW mid-card match kind of deal where I didn't really care who was winning and who was in it, or wait, where'd this guy come from and who's Speedball, and
Do we think that he ends up in AEW?
No, he'll get lost in AEW. AEW don't know what to do with him either. He'll get lost.
I think
it'll be a new.
I think it may be more situation like Cedric Alexander, and there was a woman they did it with recently where they don't technically re-sign with WWE, and then they go to TNA, and he's got a history in TNA, and then so you go to TNA, and then you can still work with WWE. You're just getting paid for someone different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do the New Japan Pro Wrestling or something like that, where maybe a little bit more of that strong style, something.
He could go on the indies and be a bigger star. He could do like Cody Rhodes did, go on the indies. He could do like what's his name's doing? Woo woo woo, Zack Ryder.
Matt Cardona, yeah.
Matt Cardona. He's a huge star on the indies. Cross and Scarlett take that act on the road indies, they'll blow up, and then they'll be somewhere else in no time.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. He just needs to find the right place they can use him correctly. All right, next match, women's WWE Championship match.
You forgot the best part was in the middle of this match.
What's that?
You got Iguana.
Oh, Iguana.
And he had a match on SmackDown.
They showed him like 18 times. I feel like they kept,
But he had that match on SmackDown.
I had never heard of Iguana.
Oh,
Brandon. I don't know who you were all talking about Iguana. I was like, who is Iguana?
Dude, Mr. Iguana is awesome, and Maesca is phenomenal. Okay, but I wanted to mention we didn't even talk about this. Cardi B, she hosted the show or hosted SummerSlam, right? We saw her for about 5 minutes at the start of night one, and I am glad that's all we saw of her. That was terrible. That was absolutely horrendous.
She is not an
the word she was saying. She was reading off the prompter. It was absolutely horrendous. WWE made the right decision. She hosted from the stands as she should be, and we didn't hear from her the rest of the weekend. That was garbage. That was bad. It was bad, dude. Real bad. Terrible. Sorry, it just made me think of that. It was bad.
And before this next match too, Wade scared me for a second. I didn't even text you about it. He started talking about the weather because they're outside. So I was like, and then I didn't know he was setting up for Jade coming out.
Yeah.
But he started talking about the weather, and I was like,
the storm was coming, Brandon, and the storm got in.
He didn't say it like that at first.
Too. He got my mom too because it said a storm is coming, and I said,
no, but they didn't lead into that. No, because I would have got that. No, what he said exactly was, we have a weather warning. And then and then they waited like 2 minutes, and then the storm was coming.
Yeah.
So that's what threw me off. And I was like, because you're outside.
Yeah.
And it's for having those crazy storms that I don't know. But yeah, it was interesting. I heard the same thing, and we were like, oh man, are we gonna have to be 45 minutes sitting around looking at each other, like panning to all the celebrities in the crowd and trying to keep everybody in, It
was like that one Mania in Tampa where they had umbrellas.
Man. The best part about this next match is Jade Cargill lost. Thank goodness they didn't do what we thought they might do. Tiffany Stratton, this was a big one for me. I went with Stratton. I think it was me and UK. We were the only ones that went with Stratton on this one. And it's still Tiffy time. Thank goodness. This match was rough. There was some rough spots. I mean,
was it 5 minutes, 6 minutes? I mean, it was
short. It couldn't get over fast enough. I think I was listening to a podcast and I think this may have been like Tiffany's first time to kind of lead a match. She hasn't been wrestling that long, and she had to kind of guide Cargill through this. But there were some really rough spots. It was fun. I enjoyed the ending the way I hoped it would end. And so they kind of showed Cargill down. And so I think this is where she gets frustrated. Maybe she does a heel run, maybe, I'm hoping, and just, goes away from the title and get some squash matches, some in-ring work, and maybe rebuilds herself. Because she was not needing to be in that spot. I mean, again, we've talked about it numerous times. Great entrance, great look, just not ready in the ring. And so I'm glad they kept the belt and the rocket strap to Tiffany Stratton, because man, that I would have lost interest in that belt if Jade Cargill had it. I'm sorry. I don't enjoy her matches because it's like I feel like I'm just waiting for some screw ups or something that doesn't go right.
Yeah, she's like the we won't mention, but she's like that team that they get off the bus and you're like, ooh man, they're gonna be awesome, and then they get on the court and you're like, ooh, whoa. And Jade's a lot like that. So, yeah, and she did the one move, she did her jaded, and she botched it so bad because she didn't get her where she wanted. She had to drag Tiffany to the ropes and put Tiffany's foot on the rope because it was supposed to be a rope break, but she didn't finish the move close enough to the. And so she had to like drag her over there, and she sat her foot on the rope. You could see it happen. And then, but the ending was the only we were ready for this match to be over. But the ending was kind of cool. She was trying to do the jaded off the top rope, and Tiffany reversed it and then hit her with the PME. So that it was a cool ending, but the match was rough.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of like the almost like the anger that angst she felt against like Charlotte Flair. She was taking out, like, it felt like they just weren't getting along. Like, it didn't feel like two people that were working together to make a match. It almost felt like they didn't like, no, I want to do this. No, I want to do, you know what I mean? It just wasn't smooth. It was clunky on both ends. And, it was almost like there was some animosity there, like there was with Charlotte a little bit, where you can overcome that some with Charlotte and her experience. But yeah, I think with both of them being fairly inexperienced with good work in the ring. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad. I thought Jade would win. I didn't think she should win. Two different statements there, but I thought they were going to give her the title, and then, but she has to squash. I mean, right now the only thing she can do is squash people. Like, she's got to be completely dominant in the ring so that you don't expose what she can't do well. But
I honestly didn't think this. I mean, it wasn't as offensive as most Jade matches have been to me. I didn't hate this as much as I've hated others. Was it clunky? Yes. Was it not a great match? Sure. But the outcome was right. The finish was neat. It was short, sweet, to the point. I think for what it was fine. I preferred this over the Karrion and Sammy match and a couple other matches on night 2. I would prefer the Tiffy and Jade match over a lot of that. So
yeah.
Was it great? No. But was it the worst thing in the world? No. It was short, sweet. Jade did her stuff. I think you called it a botch, Brandon. I think maybe it was planned to be that way to show her inexperience. Like, because she always leans back in that anyway. She just leaned back extra and put her foot on the rope. I think it could have just been the inexperience on rolling her towards the rope.
But it wasn't that part. But no, because like it happened, you watch it, they're still a little further over, and then she dragged her. Then she did that. I think
the dragging part, sure, but I mean the leaning back part and putting her foot on.
No, yeah,
I think that was all part of it.
That was planned, but she didn't land close enough to make it happen. No, I know that part was planned, but she didn't execute it to make it work. Like
it's like, hey, Cal, let me drag you over to the rope so that then you can get right.
I understand. I'm not saying she didn't botch. I'm just saying it also showed the inexperience. That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with anybody. I'm just simply stating that. But what I'm saying is it wasn't as offensive as I expected it to be. I would have preferred that match over some of the other matches, like the women's match on night 2.
I think it was Raw I was watching, but like it was like a rope set. Somebody got clotheslined and they like scooted themselves to the corner to get the hip attack. And I'm like, this doesn't make it. Why would you save yourself in the corner to a guy that you know what I mean? It's kind of that where you're like, it's to get somebody in position, and it just looks worse because it's so obvious, like I'm going to look up and then slide over 4 inches and cross my arms before you even get up there to do your move or whatever. It's a timing thing. Like when Jelly Roll was laying on the deal, just some of that stuff where I think comes with experience, right? You could disguise it a little bit better.
And that podcast you heard that on, Brett, was our podcast last week when I said Tiffy's gonna lead the match for the first time.
Oh,
You're
well,
welcome.
there it was. There you go. I couldn't remember where I knew I'd heard it somewhere.
I don't know. I do know I said it last week, but that's probably not where you heard it.
I listened to several different ones, so it very well could have been you, Kale. You have great knowledge.
That's not true. Proceed. Onward.
Sometimes you do. Next match up, the entertainment portion of the show, where you had Jelly Roll making his in-ring debut against that stupid Logan Paul that I despise, and Drew McIntyre. I was shocked by this. I thought there's got to be another match in the works for this. I was really surprised that Jelly Roll lost here. I think we all had, only person that had Logan Paul was that Professor Diggs guy. All of us had Orton and Jelly Roll. Brandon, you want to say something?
Did you see what Jelly Roll said?
Did
you see what Jelly Roll said on either Cody Rhodes's or Stephanie? Was it on Stephanie's or Cody? Well, he's on one of those podcasts. Yeah. He said he was supposed to go over. He told them that he didn't want to go because he said they always have the celebrities go over. He goes, I wanted not to go over and I want to come back. He said he's like, this could tell the perfect story. Is like where I lose my first one, then I come back and earn a win later.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Dang it, Jelly Roll. You cost me a win. Okay. Well,
I mean, I thought the celebrities normally do go over. Like, so.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. I thought the Logan Paul, we've seen him jump from there to the table before, but man, when it was Jelly Roll there, I was like, oh my gosh, this could go really, really badly, right? Like you got an inexperienced guy taking this hit from that far away. I just, I'm going through my head going all the bad things that are about to happen to this if this doesn't go perfectly well.
The camera shot was cool though. When he had the camera strapped on.
Yeah.
Was that one of y'all that sent that, Brandon or Kyle?
What was it?
That I saw
the selfie cam.
The selfie cam where he was on top
of
his
glasses, Logan's
glasses. Oh yeah, the glasses, and he did the primes and.
That was a really spot. That was a really cool. I bet that got a lot of views on all the social media platform. That was cool.
There was like 10 different angles I saw too that were really cool. There was the one from his glasses. There was a straight on. There was a side. I saw a bunch of different angles, so that made it cool too.
Yeah, I mean it was a cool spot. I mean I give it to him. He's athletic and stuff. He just drives me nuts. Which I guess he's a heel. He's supposed to do that. But,
he has been way better as a WWE superstar than we could ever imagined.
Yeah. But I thought this match was fun. I mean, it was what it was. Like Jelly Roll's first time in the ring. I thought he did some cool things. He took a beating and took it like a champ. I enjoyed this match. I know it wasn't the best wrestling match of the night, but I was entertained. There was cool spots, and Orton got his RKO in, and so I thought it was fun for what it was. Let's see. So I was just a couple of facts here. Jelly Roll has lost 230 pounds, fellas. That's just impressive. I mean, if nothing else for the guy, that's great for his health. Like, he gets to go in the ring and he's lost all that weight. I saw he may have to have some surgery to have some skin removed. He's lost so much weight. So good for him. And I enjoyed him. He was entertaining, and I'm glad to see him again in that match down the road somewhere.
I think they said first time since 6th grade he was under 300 pounds, something like that. And but I love the spot where like he's hurt and the medical's trying to get him to leave, and he like looks back and he's like, I can't leave Randy, like I can't do it. It was just good cinema, right? Like you really believe like, dude, I'm hurting so bad and I probably shouldn't go back, but I can't be the guy that walks out. I can't be the celebrity that leaves my tag team partner hanging, and it makes him the face. And Logan Paul would have left in a heartbeat, right? Like in your head you're going, oh, Logan wouldn't have done that. Logan had walked out and left Drew high and dry, and so I think it really added to that, like the credibility of Jelly Roll kind of going over for him to go back in there, even though, he got smashed.
Yeah. And I also like how Drew, he's been great as, in ring, on camera, off camera, on social media. He's very funny. And he, on SmackDown leading up to this match, he kept throwing in Jelly Roll song lyrics as like insults, and I thought that was pretty good. And then I don't know if you also saw Jelly Roll said now he wants to, and I think Randy's on board with it. He wants to cover Randy's theme song, and like that would be his new WWE thing with Jelly Roll singing voices. So,
Wow, that would be cool.
yeah,
Maybe give him a little. I mean, Randy's had that same song for I don't know how many.
it's gonna be the same song. It's just gonna be
but like the same version.
Yeah.
So that'll give it a little bit of a.
And Jelly did sing it a little bit, like to call him out there before they start playing it. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Kyle?
I enjoyed the match. Up to this point, it was the match of the night for me. I thought it was an excellent. It was sports entertainment at its finest. This was WWE turned up to the max. This is what WWE is, and I think what was different about this is they really let Logan and Jelly Roll carry the match. Like, we really didn't see much of Drew and Randy. Like, yes, they had their spots and they had their moments, but the MVP is Logan Paul. Logan Paul, I think, carried this match. And for as much as he's a jerk of a person, he is one hell of an athlete. And that is something that cannot be taken away. And he absolutely crushes it every single time he goes out there. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the match. I didn't hear that about Jelly Roll, but that makes sense because, I mean, if you think about it, all the way back to WrestleMania 1, celebrity appearances, they don't lose. Like, celebrities don't lose and don't look bad when they come on to WWE shows. And for Jelly Roll I think I heard somebody else, Stax from NXT that used to be in the D'Angelo family, he helped train Jelly Roll, and he was telling about it before. He sent a tweet out before the match talking about how he's seen dozens, hundreds of D1 athletes come through the Performance Center and not be able to make it and not come back after taking a certain amount of bumps. Said Jelly Roll broke his finger on day one, and the next day was back in there hitting him in the face and sweeping the mat after. So he cares about the business. He really cares about wrestling. And I think that helps him. And yeah, he's going to be welcome back anytime in WWE. And I love it that we can build up a storyline. Yes, it's around a celebrity. Yes, it's not wrestling. And the negative part about this, and I will say, is Jelly Roll being on the show takes away a spot from a main roster talent. Sheamus, Rusev, Carmelo, somebody that could have been LA Knight, somebody that could have been on SummerSlam, it takes a spot away. So I don't like that. But if we're going to get performances like that and have matches like that, I'm okay with it. I mean, for one night, not a big deal. I enjoyed it.
Well, unless it's SummerSlam where you have a lot of matches anyway. So it's not like a 5 or 6 match card. You take a whole slot, If
it was just if it wasn't 2 nights, I would have a bigger issue with it. But you had 2 nights, you had plenty of, and you put 17 people on the next night in one match. So I mean, you got everybody in. I think we're okay with Jelly Roll making an appearance.
All right, the next match, the main event here on night 1, Gunther and CM Punk. CM Punk gets the win in the match. Man, I enjoyed this match. It was the chops, guys. Oh my. They were brutal. It was physical. To me, like seeing CM Punk in the ring, he still is able to work. Like I really enjoyed this match of like a wrestling match. Part of me was happy that he got his moment. He got the title. And then that dang music hit. And first, when he came out there, I was like, oh, he's just going to come out. And I wasn't sure. He came out with the crutches. I had this weird feeling about it. But then he turned around. I was like, okay, well, I guess he was just saying he was going to keep his eye on him. And maybe he'll be around and just every time CM Punk's in a match, he comes out and kind of haunts him for a while. But no. Seth Rollins throws the crutches down, takes the brace off, and comes to the ring. And, man, it went from happy days in the Sweeney household to, it's ticked off. That dang Seth Rollins cashes in again. The king of the cash-in. He's had some of the best ones probably in history. I think we had some hint about this could happen. Kyle, you said it from several weeks back. I mean, I think you were the first one to say it.
I tried to tell you it was all a ruse. It was all a ruse. You're right though, Brett. The match itself, it was old school. It wasn't a big acrobatics fest. There wasn't a million false
They just
finishes.
beat
Punk
the
hit his
out of each
GTS
other.
twice. Punk hit his finisher twice, and it knocked Gunther out. That is how a finisher is supposed to work. Not 85,000 false finishes when you hit 25 attitude adjustments.
Oh, I love that
33
match.
GTSs.
I love that match though.
No.
Great.
This is it. This was old
I love this
school,
match too.
hard-hitting wrestling that they told a story. It was beautiful. Punk got his moment. That was awesome. And the whole time I'm watching that, I'm like, they can't end it like this. Like I get it's a cool moment, but that can't be the way SummerSlam ends. Then the music hits. And as soon as it hit, I said, there, I jumped up off my couch. I popped. I jumped up off my couch and said, here we go. And sure enough, now he came out there all mouthing. I said, they're not bringing Seth Rollins out to mouth about something 6 months down the road. Like that's not happening. He goes to walk around, beautiful cinema. He looked like the Monday Night Messiah again. It was beautiful. I mean, it was well done. And then to cash it in, to let Punk have his moment. Now, Seth is a liar. Seth said he would never let CM Punk hold that championship. He let him hold it for 5 minutes. So Seth is a liar. But we all know that. Now, Pops was pissed. Pops did not like this. Pops hates Seth Rollins. Cannot stand Seth Rollins. He says, that little weasel can't ever win a match by himself. He always needs help. I said, he literally just won a match by himself. Well, he didn't earn that contract. I said, he got the contract. He did. He said that was wrong what he did. I said it really wasn't. He cashed in his contract. What do you want him to do? Anyway, Pops doesn't understand the nuance of wrestling. He just doesn't like Seth Rollins at all. So
he sounds like kind of how I feel about Logan Paul.
Actually, yeah. But I thought it was the best match of the night for sure. It was a wonderful, wonderful wrestling match. Now I will say, Punk. You said Punk looked good in the ring. I thought he did too until about halfway through that match. He looked blown up. Now, could have been the fact that he was getting chopped to hell. That could be it.
I mean, I wouldn't have felt good either.
he just, it seemed like they had to slow it down even more to let him kind of catch his breath and get it. Went 30 plus minutes. That is a long match to take that kind of punishment. So I don't blame Punk for that necessarily. The dude's in his 40s. But I mean, yeah, they put on a heck of a match, and it was wonderful.
What about dudes in their 40s, Kyle? Watch out! You got some 40-year-olds in this.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're all okay.
What are you saying?
So y'all go out there and wrestle for 30 minutes, taking chops, and tell me how long y'all last. I'm saying Punk did a good job.
I can barely do this podcast for 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, I saw a deal today. Bret Hart was, Bret Harding. He pretty much named Gunther the new Goldberg. Like, he pretty much called Gunther the new Goldberg. Like, he's out here hurting people. Like, it's bull crap, all these chops. And he's like, that ain't wrestling. That's, it was like, it was 100% like, get off my lawn, you kids. It was typical of what you're used to hearing from Bret Hart. But I thought it was a cool match. I thought it was well done. I was surprised the cash-in didn't, or I was surprised the music didn't hit before the pin. That was number one shock. When he came out on the crutches, like, maybe he is hurt. I was expecting Braun and Bronson to come from behind, like Seth to be the distraction. Even though Punk won, I thought they were just going to beat him all to mess. And that was Seth was the decoy, like, looky here, magician's trick. Watch this hand while this hand beats you up. And then when he turned, I was like, well, that was kind of weird. And then he threw the crutches, and my son and I, Landon and I, looked at each other, and Landon goes, no, he's not hurt, And so anyway, it was like, what? And then, yeah, I thought it was, cool because they did he whacks him in the head with a briefcase 4 or 5 times where it's not illegal, right? And then he hands the cash, and, cash. I thought they just played it well. Like, the timing of it was much better than we talked about the one that was real clunky, where they were like having to ring the bell and they were like trying to time it right. And, this one felt much smoother and much, it was better. It was well done cinema. I thought it was just perfectly done. And, 5 minutes to match the 5 minutes that Drew McIntyre had. Like, how perfect is that, right? Like, this is that storytelling that's got the Easter eggs in it, right? All these little, callbacks and different things to do that. And so I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, and Jeremy, you brought up, I didn't know if you had seen that, but I was going to bring that up about what Brett said about Gunther's chops. And it was funny at the start, he's brutalizing Punk and he's chopping him. He's like, he said, "Call me a kid again. Call me," because Punk called him a kid on Raw. He's like kind of taunting him, and then then Gunther got busted open. That was
Well, his nose, I think he already had a broken nose. What I read, it was already broken before the match, and then I guess he bumped it or something. That's why it was bleeding, and I think he's going to be out to get that repaired.
Yeah. And I thought, my idea was the next night to have Cena be all bloodied at the end of the night. But then I was like, well, they used the blood on Gunther because WWE's not going to use a whole lot of blood in one weekend. So it's not like AEW where they're going to use blood in 8 matches on the show. So I was like, we're not getting that. And then, you talked about so he had him up for the GTS, and but he didn't do it the first time. He put a sleeper on him and tried to, beat him the same way Jay did. And then he got out of that, and he did the GTS, and Gunther didn't fall down. Gunther and then he does it again and wins. But I did like that. You said you didn't think it would happen. You thought Seth would do it before but I liked, CM Punk got his moment, got his championship, and it was just like kind of euphoric. He's got the title, and then I think it made it better because then you hear that music and you see all the facial expressions, and I like how they do now on Raw. They'll go back and show like fan reactions, like there's streamer reactions. They'll show the crowd reactions, and you see these people at their houses. You see these kids crying and like, and so I love the stuff like that. And you got that moment, and like you said, Seth comes out and the crutch drop, and then when he's running to the ring, it's funny. He just grabs Jessica Carr. It's like, come with me. He didn't go to, nobody come out with a ref, but he just kind of grabbed one on the way, and they did and like he didn't even go over there and hand the briefcase. He's like getting in the ring and beating them, and you're like, hey, y'all just announce it, and you can throw my briefcase out there in a little bit. Let me get this done. So, and then the stomp. That was a brutal stomp too, and and then Becky said she didn't like being a part of this. And then apparently Rue even told her teacher, and so that's like even thanking the teacher, like, thanks for not spoiling it to anybody.
Yeah. Well, then you saw it, the backstage video where they show Becky, where she's like, I may have been a little misleading in some of my videos, And Seth was like, he's like, I went to the gym, I went to my daughter's stuff on crutches. He's like, I went everywhere on crutches for a couple of weeks to try to play this up.
Yeah, we're definitely, and I could tell from SummerSlam, we're definitely going to get another Unreal season, like probably like early January or like a little earlier next year, and it's going to cover probably from like Money in the Bank through SummerSlam. Yeah. I think that there's some good moments they can show, and especially we'll talk about Sunday night. I really want to see the comments from the gorilla position on that.
Yeah, that's going to be.
But did y'all finish Unreal?
I haven't yet.
Oh, I haven't even started it, man. I need to get on it. It's on my list.
It's so good. And I started yesterday. I started the SEC football one too. It's good too. So
yeah, this time of year is a little busy. I mean, not that you guys aren't busy, but I have I have a real job, then I have another job, and then try to fit in the wrestling. So it's my normal job is not busy all the time,
right?
But it is this time of year. So
yeah, that makes sense.
But
looking up all them teacher computers, and
I like that shirt.
Where's the power button at now?
Yeah,
I know it's like that in our hallway. We're like, don't call the guy, just come ask us first, and then we'll see what we can do.
Okay, so that's the end of the night there. I thought they did a good job of ending it. I thought was interesting. We can talk about it now. There's no more pressers, and we figured out why there's no more pressers after night 2. I thought it was interesting. That was one of the things they kind of had established, kind of that I don't know if they stole it from AEW, but they kind of started doing those, and there wasn't one. So Triple H, I did watch the after post show or whatever they want to call it now. I guess it's the post show, where Triple H came out and said, you thought night 1 was good, wait till night 2.
Yeah.
And we're like, what can they possibly do? I think Kyle, or you were thinking you didn't want anything to overshadow the cash in. I think that was you that had made that comment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You kind of were like, hey,
I said the heel turn, that I didn't think Cody's heel turn would happen because they wouldn't want that to overshadow the cash in.
And boy, did we have something else that overshadowed
Well, Didn't have that on my bingo card.
No, I don't think anybody.
And anybody that did just threw it out there so they could say it was on their bingo card because not one person believed that was going to happen truthfully. There ain't no way. That's
great.
They're right later.
It's great because it's hard to get those kind of moments in this day and age just because everything's out there, and you back in the 90s, you got those moments a lot, but now it's almost impossible to, and we've gotten 2 of those this year. So, I mean, I like those the wow surprises.
So we got the, let's see, let me get this night 2 pulled up here. Let's see. Second, I thought I had that pulled
no
up.
Cardi B, so we already started off better.
Oh, okay. So you were happy about that, Kyle. It's good. It's a good way to
started with Tiger Lily Gold or whatever.
Oh,
I don't even know about that.
The main shows. Yeah, but then we started with Naomi's dad rocking on the guitar.
That was cool.
I didn't know he was
I didn't know that was him until I saw.
I just didn't know he could do that. That was incredible.
Yeah. Let's see. I had the results up.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we are. All right. Yeah. Naomi starts off with her dad on the guitar. Did I miss that, or did they say something about that when she came in? Maybe I just missed them talking.
They said something about it.
They did. Okay. I must have just not been. Here's I had kids doing this and that.
Sean McCray is his name. Okay.
And so that I heard it the first time. I realized it was her dad was at the post show when she came out. And they mentioned it. So I thought I need to really go back and watch because they probably could have told. They probably said it on air. I just missed it. But this was a great match. I mean, here's the thing. Like following up the last match with these women. I mean, obviously, I guess you say that Naomi was in the match. She really wasn't. She came in and stole it. But Io Sky and Rhea Ripley just killed it. And it's hard to duplicate that match. I enjoyed this match. It wasn't to me as good as the other match before. It just wasn't that. But I thought it was interesting. They pinned Rhea Ripley in this. I kind of thought maybe they would pin Io Sky, but they let Ripley get the move, and then she got rolled up on. A sneaky win for Naomi. I'm curious to see where they go here with her now. We thought maybe Bianca would show up. We hadn't seen her yet. But I enjoyed it. I'm just curious of where they're going. And there may be, I guess you have Stephanie Vaquer. She's on the list, right? For Paris.
Well, yeah.
There's a Monday night. There's a Monday night.
You're not far enough from Raw yet, and so that's why I like. So they pin. So pinning Rhea does 2 things.
Okay.
It solidifies Naomi. You pin the star.
True.
So but also now Io was able to say, "Hey, I didn't get pinned." So we get Io and Naomi are going to run it back. They're going to run it 1-on-1 on Monday because they technically haven't had a 1-on-1 match yet, and so they're going to face on Monday, and then the winner will face. Stephanie.
So is that next Monday then?
Yeah.
They didn't fight because I hadn't finished Raw yet.
No, they didn't face this Monday. They're gonna face this. Yeah. We did get 2 title matches the other night, and then we're gonna get I know at least 1 next week, maybe 2 next week too, but I know we get Io and Naomi.
Yeah, and Stephanie pretty much says, I don't care if it's you or Io, I'm taking the title at Clash. She kind of gives her the like I'm the Primera, and you're gonna give somebody's giving me a title. I don't care who. And
that's gonna be fun either way.
She's pretty over. I don't know if they.
Yeah, I don't think they put it on her yet, but I'd love to see it.
Man, I don't know. It'll be interesting, but
that could be your where Bianca somebody steps in to get some revenge on Naomi, maybe in Costa Vaquer, where she doesn't take a pin, but maybe she doesn't win the title either. Like you have some kind of interference that's. I mean, I don't know. Vaquer is. I mean, she's way over. Like she's, I think she's one of the next big, if not already there, getting to that big spot.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the match. This was solid. It's hard to live up to the previous match. I think that it wasn't their fault. I think they just had done that. The match was so great, the pay-per-view before, that it was just hard to live up to it.
Yeah, I didn't look at it like that because I say this is starting this night. And I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was a good way to start the show. because all three of these women are kind of over in different ways. And this is the best Naomi's been in her career. Io's gotten better and better, and then Rhea is just, I mean, she gets a loud pop every time. And there's a really good match. There was one spot early on, Rhea, her hand got stuck in Naomi's hair, and I was like, oh, and they were able to save that. And then Io had some sweet moonsaults, especially that one outside. And then the ending, Rhea does the rip tide from the second rope, and then Naomi comes in and steals it. Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I thought these three women put on a good show, and it was a good way to start the night.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a great match. I enjoyed it. To your point, Brad, I get what you're saying. But they were never going to beat what they
I know
did at WrestleMania.
I know it's so hard to once you've gone here and then you expect it to hit.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get there, because your disappointment is mine times 10 for another match down the road because of that same thing. So I'm with you. I hear you, but I think they still had a really good match, and I mean, I enjoyed it. Now I will say I almost fell asleep at the start because it took a little bit to get going, but once it got going, it was fine, and I thought it was a great opener. It was a good way to get night 2 going, and yeah, it started and finished well.
Yeah, I think the weird thing about, and I think it was in several of the matches, but I wonder if, I was thinking back to the crowd, and like the crowd was loud, but I don't think it's as loud as it, like everybody keeps comparing it to when they do the overseas PLEs, right? But it was an open air stadium. Like, I wonder if WWE doesn't go back and go, we've got to be in a place that's got a top, because you lose so much sound, even if the crowd is massive popping, like even when the surprise of the night comes out, it wasn't as loud as I thought it would be. And I think some of that is you lose some of that with the open air stadium. You know what I mean? I don't know. I thought it was a great match. I just think that the crowd didn't seem as loud as you thought they might be. And I think a lot of that plays into it, right? The crowd was dead for Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross the night before, and you felt the same. You know what I mean? Sometimes that crowd excitement you go, well, maybe I'm not seeing that match as well as I thought. This crowd's pretty hot, so I don't know. But I thought it was a good match. I thought it was really well done, and I think it was a great start. Again, I think you talked about it with Triple H bringing out a big hitter, to start the show and really get people going versus the slow build. You go boom big, and then you can kind of carry that momentum in case there is something not quite as bells and whistle as you move on.
All right. Next match, man. To me, this was right there for the match of the weekend. I enjoyed this TLC match. I thought it was a cool thing for the Hardys and the Dudleys to be ringside. I don't know if you guys have followed the TNA. I'm sure Brandon knows where I'm going with this, but they're going to have another match, one final match. Hardys, Dudleys, Bound for Glory in October. And so that was cool that, of course, now TNA and WWE getting along, so they're able to be there. So I thought that was really cool. But this was a spot fest that we knew it would be. And as me and Kyle would say, this was a Osprey type match. You put your phone down, you pay attention, you try to. The main difference was there was so much going on. It was like, I don't know, being a producer in this match would be difficult because switching cameras back and forth, trying to get all the spots in, it was ridiculous. Candice LeRae is a champ. She took a massive spot. That was, I mean, goodness gracious. I thought they killed her. I was like, oh my gosh, is she okay? Because they ran like, I mean, they really sold it. If she wasn't legit injured, then they had like 5 or 6 doctors that they try to keep you off them off of it. So I was kind of like, man, did she really get hurt? Because that didn't look good. Through 85 tables. I mean, I think they did a graphic on all the tables, ladders, and chairs that were broken / used in the match. Just insane. I thought they did a good job of incorporating, the White Six kind of got involved, and they were getting like 10-on-2 at once. Well, then obviously that's not going to last for a long time. And there were some cool spots. Poor Tommaso Ciampa hanging from the belt thing. I've never seen anyone pull themselves upside down on the belt little holder thing. I do think they need to work on, like, these guys they got to be complete idiots because they go up there and they're riding the belt and like some of them try to take it off, some of them try to just pull the belt. Like they need to make a rule like they either gotta take the whole clip down or they can take the belt because like to me it's easier just to yank the belt. It's just a snap, but they made it look so hard up there. Of course it's just timing, but it I noticed that kind of thing, but I really enjoyed this match. It was great. I know I kind of got to see this, not the exact participants in this match. The Street Profits won that Friday SmackDown that I went to, and I guess it was in Fort Worth. We went, and after WrestleMania, and they had this, it was great. I love this match. They had some great the guys in this, with DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. All these guys were like high flying, like crazy, and then they had the White Six, the big strong. They did a good job. It was just a good mix of guys, and this match to me was incredible. I enjoyed it, and you guys may not feel the same. I mean, I just enjoyed it. I really did. I thought to me this was co-match of the night.
Yeah, I thought it was a really fun match. I enjoyed it too. I thought definitely, like I said, the first two matches were awesome. The middle two matches weren't so good, and then the next to last one was okay, and then that final one was really, really good. But this was fun. Some incredible spots. I think with like 16 people ended up in the match because it's only supposed to be like 12, but I think we had like 16 or 17 by the end of it because
the women got involved too.
Yeah, B-Fab, Candace, the Nikki, all the Wyatt Six. Even Uncle Howdy did some stuff. So yeah, this was good. A lot of people I think thought the Street Profits might win. I just didn't think you could take it off the Wyatts this early, and so they used their numbers advantage to get the win. And I thought this was a fun match. So I enjoyed it. It's not technical wrestling or whatever. It's just hey, let's throw some bodies around and let's do some moves. And Ray Phoenix had some. This was a match where he was able to shine a little bit, and so I liked it.
I thought the double table stack was pretty cool at first when they did it, and I'm like, then they went away from it, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on, and then all of a sudden, about 5 minutes later, you get somebody fleeing through the air through, I think the Street Profits set it up and then got smashed through it, if I remember right, and I thought Loomis's move on through the table was pretty sweet. Kind of that, I don't know, I couldn't tell what it started as. It almost finished like an RKO look, and I thought Phoenix was great. I thought it was funny that Gargano was the one that pushed his wife over, and caused her to go through the ladder, and I thought she was legit hurt. I think she probably was. I think it's that one where you think you're dead for 5 minutes, and then as your body kind of chills out, you're like, okay, I'm not as hurt as I thought, because I think at first they were generally scared that she was hurt because she didn't move much, it's like work. And then I was like, man, she's really not moving at all. And then they came rushing down. I thought, oh no, that went badly. I thought Frazier was going to spear the crap out of Ciampa when he was hanging there. I was like, dude, this is going to be rough. I thought Frazier was going to go too far and end up hitting the other ring. I thought he was going to end up hitting.
And he landed on his feet. He went down and then landed on his feet. That was incredible.
Yeah, it was. I just thought it was an entertaining match. Was it technical? Of course not. But I thought it harkened and elevated to most of the TLC matches you've seen. I think it had it all, and it was fun. And Uncle Howdy did like 3 or 4 mandible claws up there, on the ladder, and I think it just had a bunch of different stuff. Again, I kind of with you, Brett. Like it's a Velcroed belt, like you could easily pull it off. So it really needs to be taking the clasp off, and that's got to be the rule because it looked like. That
is the rule. That's literally what they have to do.
Well,
the guys were hanging on it. And they were pulling on it like they were trying to pull the belt.
They have to, but if you watch Gacy, he unclips it and takes it off. So you do have to. It's a carabiner that's up there. They're not taking the belts down.
But I've seen matches. But I've seen ladder matches where they just take the belts off as well.
Sure, but that they don't do that anymore. They used
to not have that.
They take the clamp out.
Yeah, they used to not have the little hanger thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that little hanger thing's been there for a while now.
I feel
it was a cool match.
I just feel like recently that they had matches where you didn't have to do that. I'm gonna start watching to see, because then why would you ever try to? They were literally trying to pull the belt off, though. Like that was their way of, not
I
being
think they
able
were
to
just
get
trying to pull it closer to them by grabbing the belt and pulling it.
it.
I don't know.
They
The
look-
ladder match gimmick as a whole is silly because you have to slow down your climb up the ladder, or when you get up there, you have to be dumb and like you can't grab it. So that gimmick in and of itself, whether you pull the strap down or pull the carabiner out, it's a faulty gimmick. You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. But the match was phenomenal. I mean, it was easily could have been match of the night. Like you said, Brett, probably co-match of the night, opposed from the main event. But yeah, it was a phenomenal match. I really enjoyed we see ladder matches and tables matches all the time. So you got to come up with something different. And Andrade and Rey Fenix, where Rey Fenix jumped on Andrade's shoulders and they walked to the middle of the ring to try and grab. That was innovative.
I thought I liked
that
that
was
too.
awesome.
That was good. I like
that was really cool.
And they got way closer than I thought they even could. I was like, oh, they might actually get the belt. Like,
so when they changing it up, doing some different stuff, that was awesome. And then the sequence of spots where they hit through the tables was just, I mean, it was well done. Like y'all said, when Candice LeRae taking that bump, the only reason I knew she wasn't hurt is because they showed her. Like, if it's a real injury, they're not going to show it. So they showed her in the neck brace and everybody. So you knew she was fine to an extent, fine as she could be after you take a 30-foot drop off a ladder. I don't know, but that was great. The spear spot with the Hardys in attendance, you try to recreate that same spot, but add your own twist to it where the core strength of Ciampa is incredible. To just pull yourself up and hold there.
I've never seen that done. Have y'all seen that in a match like that? I've never seen that.
Again, innovative. It's something different. So, I mean, it was a beautiful car crash, and it was phenomenal to watch, and I loved every moment of it. And I'm okay with the Wyatt Six winning because you have all these. This is the difference, Brett. You have all these teams that can now go after these titles. So I'm intrigued by this. Even though the Wyatts, I'm not sold on the Wyatts. I'm kind of over their gimmick and all that. It's just not grabbing me like it used to. But them having the titles, I know they're not the end goal. I know it's going to be someone else using those as a vehicle. So that is a beautiful tag division, whether the women or not.
Well, and here's my point with it, Kyle. Like, like I said, a few months ago, we were complaining about the men's tag division. At least now we're getting somewhere. So it gives me hope that maybe they can get the women's there. So I'm hoping that we can get somewhere.
Let me ask you this, though, Brett. Let me ask you this. In all the years that they've had these women tag, since Sasha left, since Sasha and Naomi walked out of that one night,
they left because they weren't getting
anything.
They left because
right. But even before that, but since then, have the women's tag titles meant anything?
No, but here's what I'm gonna go to. There's so many women right now that are talented. But like I feel like that you've got a lot of women you could try to put together. Because NXT right now is just pumping out quality women wrestlers. That's my hope.
Right. But then they released an actual tag team in Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. They released an actual tag team, and now they're just having to build makeshift tag. You don't have a true tag team. You're just having to gel people together now. I guess Sol Ruca and Zarya would be the closest thing to an actual, but tag team wrestling where you're wearing the same gear. You've been together for years. You're Street Profits, MSK when they were together. Like those are real tag teams.
I guess you got the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah,
sure. That's a good tag team.
They kind of teased a little bit of that on Raw. A little bit with EO kind of saying, "I got this on my own," and they even teased a little bit of a Street Profit split later on in the night. I don't know if y'all caught that when I think Jackie Redmond or whatever interviews him. Like you can see Montez just kind of walk off, and he's like. When the interview ends, it was like I think they're teasing some of those things that could happen in the future. And
you've also got
well played.
You've also got Julia with what's her name now? They're not officially a tag team, but she's kind of been she's
her representation.
She's just the
Kiana James.
It could be where that could gel into a tag team at some point, and
she's a mouthpiece.
I don't take her seriously because she comes dressed like a Britney Spears "Oops, I Did It Again" music video. I don't. That goes back to what else happened on Raw. We're away from that. It's not the Divas division anymore. We don't like That we don't need the sexy schoolgirl coming out. Like, that's not what the women's wrestling is. You see, you can still do that and be Kiana James ain't done nothing. She's just out there as an eye candy to Julia because Julia can't speak good English. That's all it
It
is.
reminded me of Stacy Keebler, like the old Stacy Keebler days where she came out in the pinstripe, like sultry suit, business suit that's not really a business suit.
Let me be clear. I am not complaining about seeing that on my television. Let me be perfectly clear. I'm just saying that that's not what is needed to build up the tag division. That's not building the tag.
Well, she's that right now, but it could be where down the line they are a team, sort of. It could be another tag team at some point. They're building their characters. I don't think she's been coming out with her very long, so
only a couple weeks, I think.
But and Julia's got a belt right now, so that's not. I'm just saying, in future, if after she loses that, it could be that they have a team and kind of go after the tag. I'm trying to be very lenient. We were complaining about the tag division, and they have done something with it, at least SmackDown. Hopefully they can work on Raws too, but hey, at least we're seeing something. So maybe they can do something with the women. I'm hoping just because there's so many talented women, it will give more of a chance. But you're right. They need to probably start building them from NXT and actually keep some together. Usually what happens is they have a tag team and then they blow them up and have a feud.
Always split them
before they even get to the main roster. So I think that's something that they could do a better job of in NXT is, get a tag team together and let them, as you'd say, let them cook a little bit, let them marinate, Kyle. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
but
please let them cook.
I'm just hoping for it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
I don't share your same hope for the women's tag division.
Somebody's got to have a little hope in this world, KO.
You're right.
But yeah, that match, I think we're all in agreement. It was incredible to watch. All right, the next match on the card is Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. Man, that must have been a bad word to KO. He just went off the screen.
How I feel about this match.
He says dip.
Okay, so I will say that I was one that was like, man, I'm tired of these two. But this match had its good moments. Like it was interesting. It was my main problem with this match, and I'll give you my main problem was the zip tie thing.
Oh God,
how many of you saw the zip tie come off and she put it back on her wrist?
I thought they were gonna. The one and Wade Barrett said, "Oh look, she broke out of the zip tie," and then she goes, "JK, I'm throwing it back on. Now I'm back in it again."
Okay, that ruined it for me right there. Like that was cool. They zip tied her. I thought there was a lot of cool stuff in this match. But that I kind of was like, everybody just saw you. The zip tie came out, and you just put it right back on. Like, come on, guys.
Well, and I thought even more. that was pretty bad. But I thought it was the 35 seconds it took to put her hands in it, and the whole time Lyra's just like, "Let me help you out." Like there was no fight to it. Like at least they could have the ones that looked like the zip tie cuffs, where it was like you just have to slide a hand in. Where it was pre-started because it was like Becky was having a hard time getting the thing to even click in the first. I don't know. It was just clunky. A couple of those spots were pretty clunky.
Yeah, and I
thought Lyra looked cool with the zip ties on fighting. Like she fought well with them on. In spite of not having hands, but
yeah, I thought that there were some of those. She did a good job of doing some things with. I thought it was cool when she had Becky like wrapped up
with suplexes.
Yeah, that was cool, and where she couldn't get away. I thought it did. We talked about Bailey coming out. Like she came out, she's been kind of down on herself, whatever. She comes out trying to help Lyra again, and so now Lyra loses, and I guess we're going to get this Bailey-Lyra feuded. I guess it gives her something to do, and we'll see what they go with Becky. But, there were parts of this match I enjoyed, but there was parts I was like, come on, guys. Like, okay, let's get out the real crowbar. Let's get the real crowbar out that you're never going to hit anybody with. Let's get it out and swing it at folks. Because that's really going to happen. Like there was just some things that were really strange, but again, this match for me was like a roller coaster. There were some parts I was like, "Oh, this is awesome," and then there were some parts I was like looking and shaking my head. I was like, "Okay." So to me, it was just okay. I picked this one for Lynch because I was ready to see this end, and at least he can't come after her anymore. So Lynch is going to go on her own way for now. We'll see. I guess this Bailey and Lyra feud. It'll be interesting to see where they go with Becky. I mean, maybe they showed something on Monday.
When you watch Raw, you know where
Now,
is.
I did see a clip. So is that where they're going?
The best line, best line of the year.
It was great.
Awesome.
And maybe that's where they're going with her in Paris. But I'm interested to see. I don't know if they had any Bailey, Lyra at all in the show. Did they have that?
Did. And Lyra said, I don't want anything to do with you at all. Like, I don't want to face you. I don't want I just need to separate from you. So I don't know if they're going to do that immediately. I think Lyra may go do something else, and then Bailey may sneak her way back into that. We'll see. But Lyra said, I don't want to be around you anymore. She's like, I need to go my own way.
Well, they think maybe she'll go to the other show if they do their whatever kind of transfer.
She can just show up. She doesn't need to ask permission. She could just show up. There is no brand split. She can show up wherever she wants.
Yeah. And she can go.
So Brandon, I gotta call you out on this because
I know I'm announced because I enjoyed this match. But
you just said before the tag match we talked about, you said, I like these two matches. I didn't like the next two matches.
No, I got I got my order wrong. That's why. No. It's the fourth and fifth ones I did it. Yeah, I got my order wrong. No, when I saw what matches was, I was like, oh wait, I did because we talked. No, because I texted you I already knew we disagreed because I enjoyed this match. Yes, there were a couple the spots y'all talked about, but I don't know. It was long. It was a long match. It did go really long. But I enjoyed this match. I was locked in. I enjoy this match. I don't know why, but and I'm on the opposite end of this. But
you enjoyed it, but you can't tell us why you enjoyed it.
Well, I guess I have a different taste. I don't know. I really enjoy. The whole time I was intrigued. I wasn't like, "Ooh, this is bad." I mean, at one point I was like, well, this is long, but I just was like, I was locked into the match, and I was looking forward to what was happening next. Yes, like you said, there were the couple spots with the zip ties, but I liked what they were doing. I liked my other thing is I liked because this night had more of the gimmick matches, and I like street fights and no DQ matches that actually lend into that type and not. Like I hate when they call it a certain match and then
you mean Brandon went to street fight and then you got to roll him back in the ring to pin him? You mean that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. It's like, and it's just you get you get like one or two chair shots and then the rest is just a technical wrestling match. They were innovative in this. They did stuff with kendo sticks. They didn't use the crowbar, but they brought the crowbar. They used that in the story with Bailey and Becky. They had the zip ties was innovative, and they used. I really like this match. I know I'm in the minority here and probably all over the world, but it entertained me, and so that's all that cared for me. It wasn't Cross and Sammy, and it wasn't Solo, and because I didn't like the next one, even though I liked the characters involved, I didn't like the next match. So I didn't like Solo and Jacob, which it's hard to say that because that's maybe the first Fatu match I haven't liked, but I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it. I just thought it was clunky, in a few spots, but it wasn't as clunky as some of the other ones.
I agree with there's some clunky spots, but when you have 35 minutes, you can overcome that. They gave them a lot of time.
I really thought Lyra was going to win it. I was a little surprised when Becky kept it. I think maybe they're positioning Lyra to go after the U.S. Women's Championship because there's nobody on that side. I mean, Zelina Vega's your best.
You never see Julia do anything. So.
Right. It's like she had Zelina Vega, and nobody buys 4'9" Zelina Vega as a threat, right?
Hey,
and so, I mean, not that Lyra's huge, but I'm just saying, like, I love Zelina. I think she does some great stuff. I just don't think she, I think that's going to always be her thing is she's diminutive. And so until she goes to some ways of, like, leveling the height field, it's just hard for her to look believable. And so I think they may move Lyra in that direction to go after the next title up. And then, those of us that have seen Monday Night Raw know what's next for Becky. And so, there might be someone from long gotten fame and a little hip turn, she might have a twin sister, but I like the match overall. I just thought there were a few spots where I can always tell if it's clunky if Landon notices the botches in it, because he's 100% buying into the cinema, right? And he goes, "Dad, why is it taking her so long to zip tie her hand?" So when he catches those things pretty easy, I go, yeah, it was a little bit long, but I thought the spots were pretty decent in between, her being zip tied, not being able to defend herself. And yet she got a couple of drop kicks in and some moves in, even though she couldn't really use her hands. And so I thought they were decently creative with it. I just thought it didn't always flow the way, but it wasn't the worst match by any means, even of the night, much less the 2 nights. So.
You're right. It wasn't. It was the second worst match of the entire weekend. This match sucked. So let me just
whoa.
Yeah, second worst of the weekend. Not even the night, the weekend. I would watch Cross and Sammy over this. Here's why. Here's why. Let me explain.
Hey,
WWE.
Wait, Jeremy, let's get our popcorn. This would be good.
Let me explain. So, you had a night full of gimmick matches, and we just watched 17 people kill themselves in the ring with tables, ladders, and chairs. So the very next match, we get the same crap, like the same exact plunder of, we got more tables we're going to go through. Sure, they were different and innovative. We just saw a gimmicky match that just there was not, the crowd wasn't into it. They were doing the wave. They cared more about the wave.
That's more okay. That's more
the order.
Yeah, that's more the order. Yeah, they should.
Okay, that's my point. That's part.
But that's not their fault.
Hey, Kyle, I have a question.
You're right. It's not.
I have a question.
But
so what?
Also, there was a fight. I don't know if you saw. There was a fight in the crowd during this too.
I just had a question, Kyle. So what match would you have put here?
Dominating.
I wouldn't have had this match on this night. Why did you have to have all your gimmicky matches on one night? I think that's what hurt the next match too. Why did you have to load up the show and make it an Extreme Rules Night 2 Summer Slam? You didn't have to do that. That's on WWE for sure. That part in the match order, the match format, that's on WWE. Triple H, that's on them. What I'm saying is the women out there still, sure, they tried to be innovative. The zip ties, I get what they were trying to do. Tie up Lyra so she can fight the underdog baby face, fighting all odds against her, and she can overcome it. Hoorah. It didn't work. In the moment that it didn't work, you should have cut it. There was no reason when she did the suplex, the belly-to-belly suplex on Becky, her hand popped out of the zip tie. You could see it clear as day on the camera. Just at that point, the slam broke the zip tie. Boom, we're done. Moving on. But no, she had to sit there and finagle with it. Then she goes under the ring. She goes under the ring and is sitting under there. She's sitting under the ring waiting for Becky. Becky comes over, sprays her with the fire extinguisher, right? Then Lyra starts trying to cut off the zip ties with the fire extinguisher. That doesn't work. Surprise, surprise. She climbs back under the ring, comes back out, no zip ties. Why didn't you do that to begin with? You could have done it when you're under there the first time. Why? What are we doing?
I agree.
Becky's over here. Becky's over here walking around like Stevie Wonder because she got sprayed with the thing, swinging around a kendo stick 10 feet away from everybody. It just looks ridiculous. And then to have Bayley come out. Why is Bayley getting involved? She has nothing to do with this. Why does she care that Lyra's getting her butt beat? Why does she care if Lyra's about to get her head snapped off by a chair? Why is that her problem? It's not. She got involved in something that had nothing to do with her. Then she cost Lyra the match. It was just unnecessary booking. It was overbooked, overproduced. It was garbage. I did not like it. It was, and what's bad about it is I was looking forward to it. Last week, I told you were against it, and I said, I'm looking forward to this match, Brett. These two women have had two great wrestling matches, not all this bullcrap plunder that they had to do. Let them women go out and wrestle. They can wrestle. Why do we have to do all this other crap around it? It's not a blow-off feud. They added this stipulation for no reason. What are we doing out here? So I hated the match, all of it. I was sick of it. Couldn't wait for it to be over. It did not need to go 25 minutes. We could have gone 10 minutes here and given the rest of it to somebody else. It was crap. I'm done. Thank you so much.
I have a question. So what was your worst match of the weekend?
Proceed to the
Segue?
next match, Brett.
Okay. At least
He hasn't
on
got
that.
there yet. I agree, Kyle. As soon as the zip tie, I was actually enjoying the match. Once the zip tie is there, and we lost the even though we know some of this isn't believable, we lost the complete believability of the zip tie came off, and all of a sudden it came back on. I just like there was some cool
The
spots
under the ring
after
part
that.
got me.
There were some cool spots after that, like in pieces, but I'd already lost. Like I was like, man, this is dumb. Like if my kids weren't been paying attention, they weren't in this match. They weren't watching. If they'd been paying attention, they would have been like, Daddy, the zip ties was off a second ago. Did Landon see that part, Jeremy? I'm curious.
Yeah, that was the part he was like, yeah, because he saw that and he kind of looked at me and I was like, I've been trying really hard not to spoil all the facts, and let him really see it through, kind of that innocent eyes that doesn't understand. He's catching on to quite a bit of, he's figured out a lot of it, but yeah, I thought the Bailey thing was it was unnecessary-ish. I don't know. I think what could have been done was these stipulations should have been on the Karrion and Sammy match, right? And then you make the Lyra and Becky match just a wrestling match, and I think we probably would have been happier with both, right? Let Sammy and Karrion beat the piss out of each other with tables and whatever else they want to, and then let Becky and Lyra just wrestle it out. And you can still have Bailey interfere if that's really what you want. And I think we'd be a little bit happier. I think it's just hard sometimes to pull those off when neither wrestler's really – that's not really in either one of their repertoires. Like, yes, Becky does some underhanded stuff, but she's never really been the like, I'm going to pull out a crowbar and bash you in, or I'm going to, I don't know. It just seemed – but then I like Triple H's comments at the end of the night where he talked about, Becky's getting desperate, and a lot of times desperation leads to your downfall. Like he kind of played in – I don't know if y'all watched that part, but he talked a lot about that, where he talked about like he kind of gave some like cryptic, maybe I'm hinting at what's going to happen in the future, stuff, where he talked about that, where he was like, Becky's gotten desperate. She's resorted to some things she's not really used to. And sometimes desperation will cost you in the long run. And so, he kind of teased the future.
You brought up a good point though, Jeremy. Like if they would have made Lyra and Becky a regular.
Kyle, you may have
my freaking point out, man.
You may have somebody that agrees with you, KO. I'm curious to see if
Diggsy has made it to the party.
Hey, I'm curious.
You were really rude to Kyle. Let Kyle get his point out. Let Big Goose say what he was going to say.
Go ahead, KO.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you for some decorum in this place. Anyway, as I was saying, Jeremy, you have a point. Is if they would have put this, because Lyra and Becky didn't have an Extreme Rules blow-off feud going. They were just having wrestling matches. Karrion and Sammy, they had a reason to involve kendo sticks and all this other stuff, whereas Lyra and Becky didn't. So if you flip that and make Karrion and Sammy a no DQ match and Lyra and Becky just a regular wrestling match, I think we're okay. I don't think we're talking about these matches the same, but they did it opposite, and then they screwed them in the format too. Professor, welcome.
Hey, Kyle, I'm curious. I want to ask the professor about how he thought about this match, because I have a feeling he may be on the same page with you. Let's see if he is. We're talking about the Becky Lynch Lyra Valkyria match. What is your thoughts on this match, Professor?
I didn't like the winner. Obviously, I picked all my picks, and the picks that I got wrong, I feel like I should have got right. So I have a little bit of a problem with that right there. And just the way it happened, the whole Bailey thing, and it sets up another story at least, but I really feel like Lyra needed this win. When I look at SummerSlam, there are people who needed wins who didn't get the wins, and it's just very confusing. Like, what do they get out of this? What is the WWE trying to push forward? They just signed a new deal with ESPN. I mean, they're trying to get young talent in there, and this is how you get young talent over, and I think they dropped the ball. I was happy with the match quality. The match quality was fine. I thought it was an entertaining match. I just didn't like the booking in the winner.
Oh, okay. So, Kyle,
you don't care about no zip tie botches.
I'll just give you the cliff notes. Kyle hated the match. He thought it was absolute crap and garbage.
I was on an island, Diggs. This is the one time we agree.
He wanted it off his TV, is basically what. Kyle, is that pretty accurate there?
sums it up fairly.
He
Yeah,
said it was
I'd say
100
so.
times worse than Cross and Sammy.
No, I didn't say that. I
He
did not say 100
that.
times. I did not say it was 100
You
times
said
worse
way
than Cross and
worse.
Sammy.
You said I would
Okay,
watch.
I said
this.
wait.
No, you said
That's
I would
what I
watch
said.
this.
I would watch this one before I watch.
You said
I would watch
100
Cross and Sammy.
times before I would watch that one.
Yeah,
That's
I would
100
watch that match 100 times. Now it's 100 times worse.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing.
I didn't like it. Sue me. I didn't like it.
I'm okay with that. You have your opinion. Same with us.
All right, Diggs. Since we're already at this this match, night one for you, real quick. Things that you saw, didn't like, anything that you thought might stick out before we move on. Let you catch up a little bit.
I'm probably going to get confused with night one, night two. And that kind of gets back to my earlier point. Like, if I come up with Tiffany and Jade, that's another example. Tiffany didn't need to win that match. I guess you're pushing her as a star. Jade needed that match, and they didn't give it to her. So it's like, getting into AEW style where you're building up these stars just to be fed to the bigger stars, and I don't necessarily like that idea of it. Obviously, KO and I nailed the finale. We nailed what I mean. We may have said they did let Punk win the match, but we nailed that Seth was going to cash in, and I give WWE props because they make big shows, and they made that feel like a good stadium show for 2 nights. I enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed Seth's nuance and how he kind of did the wings and flew with he dropped the crutches. So great showmanship. But night one was it's just kind of a blah thing to get there. Jelly Roll. I hear everybody talking about that was a great performance. No, it was. That was horrible. Like him in there, I think I could have wrestled better than that. I mean, like how he was calling his shots. There was the whole thing on he was just like squinching up on the table before like I'm just going to clinch here instead of actually getting up or doing something believable. So I didn't like the Jelly Roll match. I thought the right team won, so I'm glad Logan won as far as that goes. So night one was entertaining, but it could have been better as far as match quality goes. But I love the ending and I love the stories.
All right. Good summary there. All right. We are now on, I guess, Kyle's least favorite match, as he's already stated.
He ran.
He ran off, didn't he? He didn't
All
want to.
all gas, no brakes, out the door.
He did. All gas, no brakes. That's right. So we had Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu there. These cage matches always get me with the door and how gimmicky that is. Like, I wish we could just get rid of the door. Like, let's have a real cage match. Forget the door escape thing. Like, that makes it so stupid to me. Like, hey, let me just crawl out. Oh, I'm going to get to the door. Oh, let me have my guy outside, open the door and slam the other guy's face in. It's like the same old match every time, I feel like. I did like the handcuffs, and Fatu just ripped through them. I thought that was a cool little add in there. Overall, I wasn't a fan of this match just because all the interference, and it's supposed to be a cage match. There's not supposed to be interference. You're supposed to be able to have a one-on-one match, and we all knew that it was probably going to happen. I picked Jacob Fatu just because I really like him. I thought maybe they would put him back over. I think they're probably going to have something hopefully bigger and better going for him in the future. But man, our Tonga guy, they're really put him over. I'm interested to see how long it is before they really try to use him, because they really have made him look strong throughout this. And but I thought this match was just okay. The gimmicky part of the cage match really ruins it for me. Kind of ruined the match, though.
Yeah, I hated this match, which it's a Fatu match I normally would love, but I didn't like this one. And then, like, going in, is Fatu going to do a moonsault off the cage? Well, they didn't do it until after the match. Do that during the match. Like, we wanted to see it, and we got it, but we got it afterwards. And then you said they make Tala Tonga look strong. You know who doesn't look strong? JC Mateo. That guy is a joke. They've made him look like a joke.
Him and Tongaloa are on the same level. They just
Tongaloa looks stronger. Tongaloa looks better.
Yeah, Tongaloa
like,
just botches.
How did we get here? The botch king is now like the elevated number 3 guy.
Yeah, but
Like, what is it?
JC Mateo, man, they run that guy like, man.
You're gonna have to bring him back as like El Grande Americana number 4 to give him a hope, you know.
El Grande Americana.
Oh wow.
The Super Grande.
Well, we already got
Louis-
4.
Louis Grando.
We have 4 already. I don't know if
I know.
Brett saw that. We have 4 El Grande Americanas.
Oh
now.
my gosh, no.
Was it Tyler? Okay, was it Tyler Bate?
Tyler Bate, yeah.
Oh my
It's what it looked like. I
What
couldn't
are,
tell
what
for
are we
sure.
doing? Are we gonna have an El Grande
big, strong
Americano
boy.
faction?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're all gonna be El Grande Americanos.
Hey,
No, I
now,
think
they
we'll get
did
like a
use
match,
they
like
did
a-
use our
Spider-Man
tall
match.
Grande Venti line.
yeah, they
Corey
did.
Graves must be
Corey-
tuning in because he used the tall Grande Venti roll. I'm just saying. Thank you, Corey Graves. We'll take the pop on next Monday and the credit.
We're gonna get like the Spider-Man match.
Yeah.
Gosh. Wow.
But yeah, this match sucked. So
Yeah, it was not good. I was disappointed. The one thing I thought was different about the cage was they had that little like hinge pin. You know, I don't know if y'all saw that, but it was like he was having to pull a whole pin out versus like the little lever, like the typical like, you know, chain link fence gate that they normally have where they just flip the handle up and swing it out. But I thought it was pretty dumb. I don't know. Maybe it should have been a Hell in the Cell where you couldn't get out at all. I don't know. There had to be something different. But yeah, I thought it was lackluster, which is weird because normally that was the last thing I was expecting. Was it to not? I was bored. I don't know. Whatever I thought was coming came later, and
I would be completely okay with never seeing a steel cage match on WWE television ever again. They're the same thing every single time, and the last 2 have been the exact same, with Damian Priest walking out of the ring, walking out of the steel cage, and then Solo rolling out of the ring. Like it's dumb. The steel cage never keeps anyone out. It always just entices more interference. And then we're again going back to all the gimmicks. We just saw a hand tie or zip tie debacle in the match before, so let's do handcuffs again in this match. Like, just tone deaf. Like, you just did the same thing the match before. Why are we going back to the same gimmick? Why do we have to go do? And they must have been plastic handcuffs that you could buy at the Dollar General because Fatu just snapped those.
But that's the werewolf KO. He's
a werewolf cannot snap handcuffs from a metal
I know.
pole.
I get it. But it was cool that it just made him look like he's.
But to me, we just saw that.
Yeah.
We just saw a whole half a match with zip ties, and now we're gonna get a hand. It's just the same stuff. Like,
it made the zip ties look stronger than the handcuffs. Really, is what it did, right? It made the zip ties more dangerous thing to get out of. I think it's that same thing we talked about. Like when you back to back some things like that, it ruins some of the right. Like it ruins some of the rub. Like having Lyra and Becky right after the huge tag match, table spots, all the crazy. It took maybe you rearrange those matches a little bit, and I think if you have Dom and AJ in between the two, it's not as bad. I don't know, something, but
I'm with UKO. I don't like the cage match. We need to change the rules of it or something and get rid of the door. Like, why do we need why we should have that door with like 18 locks where we can't just open it and let somebody in. It should have to climb out the top like the old school, or they pin or submit. Otherwise, no, there's nothing else. Like
completely incapacitate your opponent, something.
Yeah,
and then the cage opens when you can't, the other guy didn't move or something.
Every single time it comes down to someone gets slammed in the door, they open and they slam the other guy in the door, or they crawl out, or they that made the match not watchable for me. If they just let them wrestle and then interfered, then at least it's this is supposed to be a match to keep people out. And it doesn't. It's dumb.
They just need a Tony Khan edict to keep people out. That's what you need to do, and just say no. Nobody's allowed to be here, and then it's done. It's just the edict like that. I agree. This is probably the worst match of the 2-night thing. And I guess if KO was really bothered because I didn't get to hear him talk about this, but he just referred to it by the zip tie botch, I get why you don't like that. I mean, we got to slip our hand back in the zip tie at some point and pretend that didn't happen. That's rough right there. But yeah, it was horrible. But it's funny because when I'm watching, the then now forever pieces and they do some flash flashbacks. I have good memories of those the blue bar, the big square steel cage matches, like back in the Hogan days and whatnot. I loved those steel cage matches because they meant something. Now it's just absolutely a joke.
All right. I think we've talked about this probably too much. Let's move on.
I don't know, but did y'all notice too? Like, so they had the cage up the first night, and then but they didn't bring it down to the second night, obviously. But then also, like they do their LED ring posts. They had them the first night. I guess they didn't have them the second night because of the steel cage, because they didn't have them at all the second night. And so I don't know if it's because of the cage or
was the cage shorter? It seemed like it was shorter too, like it wasn't as tall.
Yeah,
that's because he jumped off the top. He couldn't have
maybe it's because Paula Tonga was there in
it. Yeah, I mean, I think if it had been, they should have just made it crawl over the top, because those are the spots we always love, right? The guy gets to the top, he's almost there, somebody grabs him, yanks him off, and he falls and boom, hits the mat, and then I think that a few more of those would have probably made it a better match, but it just seemed too easy to roll out the ring and let the other guy get the big boot to the cage door to the forehead kind of thing. And
all right, well, let's move on. AJ Styles and Dirty Dom. I thought the ring gear and the kind of the semblance of the Eddie Guerrero stuff was cool in this one. AJ comes out in his car and did y'all notice his son had his hair dyed like the old Dom? He looked like the old Dominic Mysterio. I thought that was pretty neat. I enjoyed, man, Dominic Mysterio, man. Like, he has grown on me more than, like, again, I dislike his character because he's a heel, but like, he's like really, really improved. Like, when they first put him on TV, he was kind of like, why is he out there? Like, he wasn't great in the ring. He just didn't care about him. He was hanging out with his dad. They tried to do the tag team thing, but his character work, man, he is really, I mean, they compare him to Eddie Guerrero all the time, but like he's done a good job with it. I really have to give it to him. I picked AJ to win, but I figured Dom was going to win. I thought maybe they might do something with the Judgment Day starting to lose their titles. Obviously they lost the tag titles for the girls, and but I was kind of hoping for AJ to get that one last run with the belt, as he's I think that they officially announced it's his last SummerSlam. I know I saw that a few places. I know he's not going to be wrestling for that much longer, so but I always like him in the ring. So I'd like to see him get one more run here at some point, but shout out to Dom, man. He won the title, and we'll see where he goes next. They kind of really sold this AJ feud really, really well. So I've enjoyed it the last few weeks with AJ kind of stalking him and, always popping up, and Dom trying to play the injury card. And so we'll see what they do. I don't know. They didn't, he's on SmackDown, so they haven't.
He's on Raw. No, they're going to run it. Yeah, and they're going to run it back in France.
Oh, they are. Okay, because I didn't finish Raw yet. So I couldn't remember if he was Raw or SmackDown. Again, I'm like Kyle, they're all over the place. I don't know who's on what brand.
Yeah. But they're going to run it back in France, it sounds like. So so AJ may get the win there, because I think, Dom, I think, is going to win the Triple Mania Mega title.
And that's kind of what I said when we picked. I thought maybe that they would go ahead and pass this belt.
But I think they want to give him two titles, and then they may not take it off. They may not take the Intercontinental off him still, but I think they want to give him two titles. I mean, they're really, and Dom's made leaps and bounds, and I think so they're going to use this stuff to push him, and he's really over in Mexico right now. So I think he's going to win that match, and then we'll see what they do with Intercontinental if he goes over AJ again, or they might give it to AJ. So we'll see. But I like how the creative ending by Dom. He loosened his boot, so because he knew that the calf crusher was coming, and so the boot comes off, and then he capitalizes it, and then they even, I like that they nodded to the AJ's like, hey, kind of gave him credit. I like I like what you did there. You outsmarted me. Good job, young fella. So. But I like Dom. I didn't really the match overall. I like the ending, and I like that they kept it on Dom. But the match it wasn't awful, but it wasn't like great the whole way. It was there, and But I do enjoy Dom. I love this character way more than the face tag team with your dad. I didn't like him then, but I like him with the stash and the mullet and the ladies man and the cheat still like Eddie Guerrero. So
Yeah, I think the thing, like, I think keeping him a face, he couldn't keep his body type and be a good face, right? Like he makes that kind of greasy, like bad guy. Like he doesn't look like he should be good because he doesn't look super muscly. Like he just kind of looks like a guy that just kind of like came in from he was actually setting the stage up and accidentally stumbled onto the stage and some music hit and he was like, well, I guess I'm in. You know, he kind of has that look to him and he plays it well with the mustache and the long hair. It's kind of greasy looking. And I think he does a great job as a heel, you know, as far as just you appreciate it, but you can't stand him at the same time. Like I think he does both well. And I think AJ was a good person to run that with and the lead up to it with all the little, you know, you see AJ in the 5 different outfits and you see AJ, you know, praying to get Dom cleared up. And, you know, I thought they just did a good job kind of leading to the match. And then again, Monday night, you know, AJ kind of gives him props, but then says, I'm still coming for it. You know, I'm not done. And yeah, I was surprised that Dom got the pop he did too on the AAA stuff. I thought for sure with him being so anti his dad and anti lucha-ish, you know, but pretending he's a lucha, I thought for sure that would bomb him over there. Like I thought he was going to get booed out of the house when they showed it. And I mean, they acted like he was the next coming of, you know, whatever, like he was going to be the next great superstar in AAA. And so I thought it was interesting the reaction he got from them. And his post game or the post night, you know, interview was really good too. And so I just think he does a good job, full character work, background, foreground, and the match was decent, but I think they did a good job with, like you said, all the costumes and the lowrider and some of the setup for it was well done.
The match was fine. I mean, it was there. It wasn't egregious and it didn't blow me away. I thought the ending was great, but I mean, the match was fine. I think they need to, when they run it back in Paris, I think they need to give the title to AJ. Dom's not really doing anything with the IC title. I think having it on AJ, the way that the reaction that AJ got last year in France was amazing with everything shaken. Imagine going back to France this year and getting him the title by beating Dom in France. Like I think that'd be a great moment for AJ, and I think they're going to give Dom the AAA title. Not saying he can't hold both. He can hold both, but I mean, look at Mercedes. She's got 8, so 2 is not a big deal. But I think they're going to give Dom the AAA title, and that'll give AAA a little rub with Dom having it on WWE television. And I think you could still set something up later on down the road with Dom and AJ again. But I think when they run it back in France, I think AJ needs to go over and win the IC title for that moment. WWE is all about moments. I think that'd be a great moment.
Yeah, I actually fell in love with Dom. I don't think I got to tell this story on the podcast, but when I was at WrestleMania week, he was on the Not Sam podcast, and I went to go watch it live. And his character work is he did basically an hour in character interview and just talked about his habits, his love of chicken nuggets, and just his personality. Dom's got a lot of layers to him that I think we're going to have an opportunity to see over the next couple of years because he is insanely talented. He's insanely charismatic. His wrestling skills, as has been mentioned, are a little bit questionable. I think if you look at it in the lens of what you expected and what you got, this match grossly overachieved. But I think if you're still rating it on a 5-star thing, it wasn't a great match. But the ending and the psychology from the beginning to the end were fantastic. And as Brandon and Jeremy said, the way they played it up on the post show and on the next Monday Night Raw were fantastic as well. I wouldn't mind seeing Dom continue to win over AJ because AJ right now hasn't done anything to make me believe he's a believable character. He's a believable superstar at this point. And because he couldn't even really care, I think his wrestling skills has deteriorated over the last couple of years. So I kind of hope that Dom continues to win it and maybe loses it to somebody who deserves it. Maybe like El Grande Americano. Who knows?
Which one? Which version?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah. I do like that they're calling Dom, or especially he's calling himself. A couple other people said you call him a 20-year veteran, and then also you mentioned the chicken nuggets and chicken tenders. I like that he has his own Wingstop commercial now. I pop for that there, not on Raw also.
All right, main event time, guys. Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Main event. Man, I, we saw this match WrestleMania, but we got babyface Cena. They came out. He had his black entrance, and then boom, the color hits, and it's like, yeah, now this is where I need my Cena. Like it was awesome. The reaction. So what they're able to do is they've almost flipped it. So like he came back and he was still getting the half and half. You turn him heel, he's getting more heel heat. And now it's more, you're getting more face because people now are like, they're appreciative. They want their regular John Cena back. So I thought the pop was phenomenal. Cody Rhodes didn't turn heel in this match, but he was getting some of the heel, like Cena was getting the face, most of the face love there for the crowd. For Cena to be going out this year, guys, that was an incredible match. Now I know there's a couple of people on the bottom of the row here. I'm sure Kyle and Diggs are gonna crap on the 18 false finishes and all that stuff. Yeah. But I mean, it was they went out there and they gave it all. Now, I mentioned this earlier. The thing I didn't like about this match, street fights should be able to be pinned anywhere. Like, why are we going to fight in the street if we can't pin them in the street? So we're going to take a guy all the way out to the arena like street fights used to. They used to go all over the place. And then we got to drag them all the way back to the ring. Like, they're going to recover by that time. Makes absolutely no sense. I think they need to change that rule. Like, that was dumb to me. Like, it wasn't their fault. The rules should have been changed, like the stipulation. They should be able to pin them wherever. Other than that, like the spots in this match, Cena, I mean, I've seen him wrestle a lot, but that's the best match I've seen out of Cena in a long time. Like, just from top to bottom. Like, it was, I was impressed. They put on a match. It was way better to me than the WrestleMania match. I thought the moment at the end where Cena kind of passing the torch type deal, got to talk to him. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it. And then, as I thought, that was a great ending of the night. It was a great match. The pop hit. We get Brock Lesnar's music hits, and the reaction. I mean, the funny thing was, like, I had my son watch. He's like, "Whose music is that? Who is that guy?" Like, he's been off TV so long. My kids don't even know who he is. My first thought is, why in the world is WWE bringing this guy back on TV? Like, he is in the middle of all this. I mean, he's not directly being sued, but he's been mentioned in this lawsuit. Like, to me, like, that's just a little, iffy there. We'll see. I don't know how it's. I mean, obviously Cena wants this match because he's kind of calling the shots, and I think it's a good match for his farewell tour because obviously Cena and Lesnar, a lot of history there, but I don't think anybody. I think Kyle, one of you guys said the bingo card. Kyle, was that you? I don't think anybody had this on the bingo card.
Yeah, no, nobody had this on their bingo card.
No way.
I mean, even with it being where he's not directly involved, like he's in that mix of the lawsuit. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But man, they pulled another rabbit out of the hat. And when Triple H said the night before there was going to be something big night too, he was absolutely spot on. But I love this entire main event. Again, it was my co-match of the weekend with the TLC match. To me, like I loved it. It was great. I wanted Cena to win, but to give it to Cody now, that answers the question. I was kind of wondering, like, okay, you take the belt off, where does Cena go? Well, they answered that really quickly, so we'll see. But man, just a great match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and then before the match we get the Dusty's words to lead Cody out. That was really cool. And everybody was talking about, oh, it's AI. No, it's not AI. Dusty said those things. Like that's real. Like they just took the recordings and spliced them together. But that was pretty cool. Cena has old intro. And then Alicia, before she crushed the intro. Like, she's really good, but she really crushed the introducing them in the ring. And then the match, I like I like how Cena both of them too. Even though neither one left as a heel, they both showed face tendencies and heel tendencies. I liked how Cena went and took Halliburton's crutch and used it. And then my favorite spot in this match was obviously them coming up through Cody's elevator shaft and then delivering the A on the ramp. That was really cool. And but yeah, and yes, there were a lot of false finishes stuff, but I think this match kind of was one that maybe warrants that because he was always, especially you getting Cena back, and he was always super Cena. And it also like left you because yes, I picked Cody and I thought Cody was gonna win, but the whole time I'm like, wait, who? I kind of started doubting like who's gonna win and is Cody gonna turn? Is Cena gonna? Was that all a ruse? Are we getting another ruse? Two nights in a row was Cena's face turn a ruse, and then now we see why Cena turned face after the match. But and then the match ended, and I didn't even expect it to end when it did. Like Cody did his, he started crying and did the emotional, but I expected Cena to kick out again, but he didn't. And then I was waiting for something to happen after the match, and it didn't with those two. And then, like you said, I don't know. I accidentally muted my mic. Sorry. And then the Brock music went off, and Brock's back. I'm one. I'm not going to comment on the air stuff because I'm one that's separate. We talked about it with Hogan last week. We've talked about it with other people. I try to separate. Like I view these people as characters, and I'm watching a TV show. I'm not. He did whatever he did. I don't know. I don't know the details, so I'm not going to get into it. But I'm Cena wants this match. Brock is back. I'm going to watch the match. That's all.
Yeah, I thought it was cinema at its finest. I mean, multiple points where you're like, this is it. This is the finish, right? And then it's like, just kidding, So, again, I'm usually in the cow boat. Like, I hate the false finishes. But I think when you realize it's passing the torch from one superstar baby face to the next big baby face, I think it makes sense. I thought what was cool, too, was Cody coming out in the mask that had the, you could see where he reforged the mask back into one piece again. And that was kind of a cool touch too. And the elevator entrance was just super sweet. And then again, I thought it was awesome when Cena comes up with him on his shoulders through the elevator later. Like you kind of get that tie back in, and I thought it was really well done. I was a little surprised. I think that the one finish, like I thought after all the other ones they had, I thought it was going to take another 2 or 3 to end the deal. That was the only thing I was a little bit surprised about, that it just took the one crossroads right at the end there. I think that would be the only thing I'm like, well, why did we do 3 earlier that didn't work? And then this time the one did. I think that might be the only thing if you were looking at it critically, but I thought the sentiment of it was perfect. The emotion shown by Cody saying thank you. And, in that moment where they had that moment together and, raising his hands, and then, you're thinking, man, that was it. Like, what a phenomenal ending. And then, and again, my son was the same way. He's like, who is that, Dad? What is this? He's like, who is that guy? And why is there a cowboy coming out? He was asking all the questions. I was like, shh, hold on, I'll explain later. And so I got to pull up a couple of YouTube things and kind of show him, and he was like, oh, and so I think that was kind of fun for him to get to see, but he didn't know who it was. So he didn't have the same shock value that I did, but I thought, I was shocked too. And again, I think like Brandon said, I don't know all the details. I was surprised that he came back because of the fact that he's been mentioned in the lawsuit and all that. I was a little bit surprised he did show up. I thought they might let that play out a little bit more before they did anything, but I'm not disappointed because I think it'll be a great match with those two. And I love Cena's comments later when they asked him about, because Triple H said, we're kind of letting him write his story. And then John Cena was like, no, I didn't ask for this match. I just knock him down as they put him in front of me. He was like, I didn't ask for this. Whoever they line up, I'm taking them down, And so I thought it was kind of an interesting play there between the two.
On the Brock thing, like I'm with y'all where we separate. This is another Hogan situation. Is what I've dove into the lawsuit and all that. Yes, he's mentioned he didn't do anything illegal, and WWE and TKO Legal cleared him 4 weeks ago. So if this multi-billion-dollar corporation cleared him and they don't think they have any legal repercussion, morally is what he did wrong? Sure. Does he have weird fetishes? Sure. But that's not illegal. Like that doesn't make it illegal. So is he a bad person? Maybe, but that, again, that's not illegal to be a bad person. So if legal cleared him and he's on TV, I'm here for the entertainment. Entertain me like you're supposed to do when you're on the television show. I don't want to say I don't care about the off the screen stuff, because it is bad, but again, it's not illegal, so it's really none of my business. But anyway, as far as the match goes, I think it was the best Cena match we've probably seen in at least 10 years. Like, it was, I don't know what this Cena was this first half of this retirement tour, but this is the Cena we should have been getting this entire time, I think. And it was nostalgic. It brought back that old Cena vibe. Like, when the music first hit and it was still just blacked out with the John Cena, I was like, oh no. But then when it brightened up and he was excited and ran to the ring, like, that was awesome. That was a highlight of the night for sure. And yes, I hated the amount of false finishes. I get what y'all are saying. Super Cena, all that. It gets to a point where it's just there's one false finish too many. And I think it reached that point. I think when I text y'all and said, okay, so yeah, 3 Crossroads ain't going to do it. And then they hit the Avalanche AA. Well, if the 3 Crossroads ain't going to do it, an Avalanche AA ain't going to do it. But that it should. And when you contrast it with what happened in the main event the night before, where a finisher did finish the match, it just kind of, with that juxtaposition, when both matches were great, for sure, both matches were great. I prefer the finish ending the match than spamming finishers at the end. But it wasn't as egregious because there was more in the match. The street fight element made it where there were other things happening. So it wasn't like a Punk and Cena match where they're just spamming finishers left and right to see who can get there first, or a Cena Rock match where they're just spamming finishers.
Well, a lot of it, KO, had to do with the, what I mentioned earlier, they had to throw them back in the ring. So there were some things that could have finished them outside the ring, but by the time he had to roll them into the ring and pin him,
that doesn't bother me like it bothers y'all. Like, that doesn't bother me like it bothers y'all. Like, if you want it that way, then make it a Falls Count Anywhere match. That's on them. Like, a street fight is no DQ, pin them in the ring. I don't care. That if you want a Fall Count Anywhere match, then make it a Falls Count Anywhere match. That's my opinion. I don't get hung up on that, but I understand what y'all are saying, though, for sure. And yes, you're right. It could have. There was plenty of things that could have ended the match outside of the ring where they would have just pinned him. It probably would have been over. But it probably wouldn't have, because they kick out of everything. There's 80,000 false finishes here, so it probably wouldn't have finished the match. But overall, I thought it was great. The like, to use Jeremy words, the cinema of it. It was well done. It was well shot. It was well produced. It was a passing of the torch moment. Cena is done in about 10 appearances. He is done. We're not seeing him in the ring again. So it was his moment and his way of, Cody, this is your company. I'm handing it off to you. But I thought it was a great moment. And then Brock coming back at the end, it totally unexpected, popped big time. Same thing. Had to explain to my parents, like, yeah, I don't know who that guy is. I'm like, I know. I'll introduce you to him. He's a bad dude, though. But yeah, I thought it was great. I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the finish. It was extremely big pop. And for me, outside of the first 2 matches, this saved the show. I was losing interest in this show quickly on night 2 with the Becky Lyra match, the steel cage match. Dom and AJ didn't really do it for me, but this saved the night, in my opinion, and made night 2 a great night.
Yeah, not much more I can add. That I think all of you covered up my viewpoint on it. One little bit of a divergence that I'm surprised Brandon didn't say it, and I thought he would. I actually thought, and I know this is a completely weird comparison, I thought Dustin's street fight on Thursday was a better match than this. I mean, if you haven't gone back and watched that on AEW, that is one of the most insane matches I've ever seen. So that the fact that he could still do that and one upped his baby brother, who's the champ on the big screen, I thought was pretty impressive. But the storytelling on this side was crazy, and I didn't watch this match until maybe Monday afternoon, so I did not have it spoiled. And when Brock came out, my jaw was dropped. I was like, so I didn't get it spoiled, and it was just a moment that I wasn't expecting. And again, WWE with these big stadium shows keeps delivering these moments at the end of the show where you're like, wow, okay, this is, the stuff beforehand may not have been good. And that's kind of getting back into almost 80s and 90s. if you think of SummerSlam, you think of Bret Hart and the British Bulldog. Most people cannot name 2 or 3 other matches on that card. It's like you remember those big moments. So the WWE is kind of getting back to that idea again, and we, because we're so spoiled with AEW and some other cards, expect all these matches to be great. But it's those moments that we're going to remember. And every now and then, when like a TLC match actually usurps the main event, it's so memorable because they went out and stole the show. So the fact that this card had 2 memorable endings, I think saved, like KO said, saved the show, and I left with an overall positive experience because of it.
All right. Well, so how do y'all think just the 2-night SummerSlam? Do we like it? Do we think it's too much? I mean, what do y'all think?
I thought it was good. I think if you do this for every pay-per-view, I think it loses the impact, right? Like you can't do this for every single one, but I think your big ones, I thought it was good. Again, I think like we talked about it allows you to add a jelly roll in. It may not be your favorite match, but it allows you to add that in and not at the expense of guys, right? Doing a 16 tag tables, ladders, and chairs, you're pumping up the amount of superstars that are getting to be seen. And I thought it was overall good. I thought night 1 was better than night 2 overall. But I thought the big matches on night 2 were better than the big match on night 1. I know that sounds weird, but I think if I were to grade the numbers out, I think night 1, I was more interested in night 1 overall than I was night 2, where that lull was kind of that weird spot in the middle and it almost lost me. So,
yeah, and I liked the 2-night format. Jeremy, I agree with you. I thought night 1 was better overall, but night 2 had some stuff too. But I did because night 1. You get the ending with Seth cashing in, and like, hey, that's a good ending to a pay-per-view. Seth cashes in, Punk gets his moment, Seth cashes in, steals it. But then you get to like, oh wait, we get more tomorrow. So like, it's kind of cool. And but it worked for SummerSlam, it worked for Mania. They're talking about doing it for the 4 big ones. I don't want it for Royal Rumble. I don't think it works. Yes, you could end night 1 with Women's Rumble and then night 2 with Men's Rumble. I still don't want that. I like Royal Rumble the way it is, but like this one, if you did it one night and you still had the same 12 matches on the card, I mean, it would have been AEW should have been 10 hours or even longer. But so like I like that part, and like Survivor Series, I would be okay with them splitting into 2 nights if you get one night you do these war games, and the other night I want some traditional Survivor Series. I wish they'd bring some traditional Survivor Series. So if they did that, but other than that, just keep it WrestleMania and SummerSlam. But I don't want them to split Royal Rumble into 2 nights.
I think whether we like it or not, we better get used to it. Because like you said, Brandon, I think they're going to do it with the major ones. I could see them splitting Money in the Bank too. Because if you look at it from TKO's perspective, they're all about money, all about the bottom dollar. And what did they hype up this weekend? The biggest SummerSlam ever, because it was 2 nights. If you 2-night everything, you're selling more tickets. You're getting more merch.
Why don't we 2-night UFC 350? That like,
I don't agree with it. I'm with you.
I mean, because I'd be cool if they did that. Give us 3 big match fights on night 1, and then a Sunday night UFC with another sick main event on night 2. But I don't. Yeah.
I mean, but they're all about money. I think once they've seen the format, and as long as it works, like Mania they claim biggest gate ever. That's because they keep jacking up ticket prices.
True.
It's not because they're getting more people.
They sold out Saturday night, and then Sunday night was a little less, but there were still a lot of people in there. So
which is funny because the number on Sunday was higher than they announced than the number on Saturday. So that's funny.
It looked like there were more on Saturday for sure.
Well, it said 53,000, and then all of a sudden they had 60 the next night. I'm like,
65 or something.
7,000 more people came on the second night somehow.
But it looked like it was way more on Saturday night.
But I mean, if they sold out, then how do you sell out at one number?
You open because like wrestling, you can add
7,000
chairs.
seats. That's a lot of extra.
I mean, there's a lot of you go to those big stadium shows. There's a lot of dead room to add chairs.
Yes. MetLife can fit a lot too. That's a big old stadium.
Oh, speaking of that, what do y'all think of? I love the stage. The stage was.
The stage was awesome. That screen was sweet. That screen was sweet.
It took up a lot of room. That's one of the things I noticed because like that took up a whole end zone basically. So it did take up a lot of room.
to Jeremy's point earlier, like the open air stadium thing for the sound, I don't think it's that big of a deal because in the stadium you're still getting that same sound. Like on TV, it doesn't translate as well, but they showed a video from outside the stadium when Cena was doing his 5-knuckle shuffle, and from way outside the stadium, you can hear the whole crowd. You can't see me, so like the sound is still good, but no, it does not translating. It does not translate on TV at all, but. To your point, the Wyatt 6 entrance in daylight loses all effect at all.
I mentioned that from the beginning. Like that would be the one point about not having that match early, because that ruined. Like it was. I was like, this is just a normal people.
But if you have it in a dome or even like an AT&T, which is a dome that can open it, but if you can make it darker, then those entrances have more effect. But yeah, it kind of loses the vibe if you do it in daylight.
And then they did the Fireflies for the AJ Dom match. I didn't get that. Like, but I do like the visuals of the outdoor daylight. I like those. Like it gives a big feel. Like because my first thing is thought is Levi Stadium WrestleMania. Like in the early WrestleManias, like that were outdoors. I like that part of it. It looks cool, those early matches. But there's certain entrances that don't work as well. But because we also never saw Undertaker like open when it was daylight, like we saw him at the end. So
I actually disagree with you, Brandon. I want to see Royal Rumble as a 2-match or 2-night show just because there's so much. I mean, you basically can do the 2 Rumble matches and maybe 1 or 2 world title matches. That's all you can get in 4 hours. You can easily do that as a 2-night show. Still only have 6 matches, like 3 on each night, a Royal Rumble and maybe 2 World Championship matches. And it makes sense with that. So I actually want to see Royal Rumble in this more extended format because I think I've enjoyed these extended formats, but I agree. If we start to get Survivor Series and Money in the Bank and Crown Jewel and some of these other ones, it's going to get oversold. But Royal Rumble, we definitely need that as a 2-nighter because and then they could actually maybe have an hour-and-a-half match or go back to 2-minute entrances instead of 90-second entrances and go old school and really tell the stories of those matches. I think there's a lot they can do with the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, you could even do a ladies' night and a guys' night. You could make night 1 all matches with the ladies' card. You could do each of your titles up on the line on the ladies' side. You could do the same thing on the guys' side the next night and flip the nights every year. Guys go first, 1 year girls, if you wanted to do that. So I think you could do a lot of stuff with it. It would make sense to do Rumble. Yeah, I don't want every PLE to be like that. Give me 3 or 4 max, and I'm okay. But if you go beyond that, it gets too.
It does keep the time limit down, though, as we've talked about not having a really long show. If you have a nice 3-hour event 2 nights in a row, that's better than having to, try to jam everything in 4 or 5 hours. It's kind of.
I think y'all sold me.
What'd you say, Kyle?
I said Tony.
I said I think Jeremy and Diggs sold me. So.
Okay. Speaking of PLEs, we got. The next one really major one on the agenda here is the Forbidden Door on the 24th. Kyle, I guess he thumbs down in that one. I think if
over AEW.
If Ospreay's there, I'm at least going to watch that match. Professor says no.
He's not.
How do you feel? Or we disagree about AEW?
You and I need to go step inside the WWE steel cage and have this out because, again, what I'm watching with AEW, the story, I mean, they're not WWE, and that's what it is. But, man, like I said, Kyle Fletcher and Dustin Rhodes put on a 5-star match. I mean, these are just 2 random names out there in an ecosystem of 20 or 30 big stars, and Kyle Fletcher and Dustin Rhodes put on a 5-star match. AEW is fun stuff.
Kyle probably didn't even see it because he doesn't watch Collision.
I didn't, but also, what did you say at the start of the show? Dustin Rhodes is having double knee replacement surgery.
Yeah,
probably don't need to be doing those matches, even if it is 5 stars. Probably just need to stop.
I do have a question for Diggs because I know you like what are your because this is going to be what are your thoughts on Speedball?
Horrible.
Okay, good. I'm glad we agree there. I was excited because I was worried you might be a fan of him. So.
Well, like we talked about on the last So I'm excited about even just the little things like what they're doing with Platinum Max, where I'm almost having like a double heel turn kind of a
I
thing with
love
that.
Platinum Max.
I don't know what's happening with that, and he's still trying to be a bad guy, but they're embracing him. I mean, they were all
Let's go.
chanting his name for like 5 straight minutes on that against Roosh, and he was just getting the hell beat out of him in that match.
And I
The
consider that a win.
mistakes-
I consider
and
that
he
a
got
win.
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
Kyle, you're just
Sounds
being
thrilling.
big
I
old
hate that I'm
pussy.
missing it.
Oh, and then we got, of course, Clash in Paris is the next weekend, August 31st. Now, Kyle, you ready for that?
Hey,
one?
we got Triple Mania next week.
I don't
and-
have that one on this list.
And WWE showing it live on their YouTube for free.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Hey, and speaking of WWE and PLEs, I found this. It says update. According to a source, those who subscribe to ESPN via the ESPN DTC, which is what they're going to call it now, the streaming we were talking about early on, it says DirecTV, Hulu Live, Charter, Fubo, Verizon, Fios all have access to the WWE PLE, but YouTube TV currently does not. So that's the update. Earlier today, it looked like YouTube TV was thrown into that, but that was just something I saw that came out a couple of maybe an hour or so ago.
hey,
But
you forgot Brett's TV. It's part of that list.
Oh yeah, and Brett's TV.
All exclusive. All inclusive. With
All
that.
inclusive.
It's all
Apparently, we got earnings called Jeremy on the show. We're breaking into some, some Kramer going on here, some Jim Kramer getting into these earnings calls, figuring out like what's happening with the finances and all that. But I like it.
If I was going to have to pay $30 a month, $30 a month is a little steep. I don't know if I'm not getting one show every month.
Hey, everyone's gonna have 2 nights, so it'll be twice as worth it. Jeremy.
That's true.
We used to pay 50, 60s. So.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I know.
true.
We're kind of spoiled in that aspect. But well, that's gonna do it for tonight's episode, fellas. It was a good chatting about SummerSlam. We'll hopefully be back in a few weeks. We'll see. We've done a few shows in a row. Maybe we can get a few in here during football season. We'll see.
They call that a streak, Brett.
It is. It's a pretty good streak. We got one going. That's going to do it for tonight's episode. For Dirt Sheet Brandon, Jeremy the Jim Diamond, Professor Diggs, the Big Goose KO, Kyle Owens. I'm Mr. Nedison, Brett Swinney. We'll catch you next time right here on Off the Ropes. Good night, everybody.
My father said when I was younger, hard times remember me. You took it all away, I give it all away. You take my freedom, in exchange the game, a better man to play. I built my kingdom, now you bow to me. You took my dreams, but not my game. You'll follow me till the end. I am my kingdom. Lights go down. I'm ready now. Tear this roof up for the town. Gonna give them what they came to see. Hear the crowd on the toes, ready for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up. I'm home. Whoa. My father said when I was younger, hard times remember me. You took it all away, I give it all away. You take my freedom, in exchange the game, a better man to play. I built my kingdom, now you bow to me. You took my dreams, but not my name. You'll follow but not my name. You'll fall